Chapter 1996. That's good. When the fat man heard that Yang Ming knew Xia Shui, he was relieved. He smiled and said, I don't know if this young lady is easy to serve. She is Captain Xia's sister, the granddaughter of the boss in the bureau. Oh. Yang Ming was slightly stunned. What boss's granddaughter? The granddaughter of the bureau chief. You don't know? The fat man looked at Yang Ming strangely. I don't know. This is the first time I heard of it. Yang Ming shook his head. Xia Shui has such a background? It seems that this person is quite low-key. The fat man was relieved. Then I am relieved. I am afraid that she is not easy to get along with. It's okay. But since she has such a background, why did she participate in this mission? Yang Ming had some doubts about this. If Xia Shui had such a strong background, why did she have to take the risk to participate in such a dangerous mission? The bureau chief's style is like this. His children and grandchildren will be put in the most dangerous positions to gain experience. Only in this way can they grow as quickly as possible. The fat man said, Captain Xia has also carried out dangerous missions before, but it was not as serious as yours this time. Oh? You know what we are going to do? Yang Ming was stunned. He was surprised that the fat man knew the inside story. I am also the person in charge of a provincial agency. I can still access some secrets. Although it is not so specific, from the information I know so far, it is already quite dangerous, said the fat man. Yang Ming nodded. He had forgotten the fat man's identity. The car drove into the Songjiang City police station without any obstruction. It seemed that the fat man's car was already here. It was parked in the parking lot in front of the police station building. Yang Ming dialed Xia Shui's phone. Hello? Xia Shui was sitting in the office. When she saw Yang Ming's name on the phone, she had some resentment in her heart. This Yang Ming is really too much. If it wasn't for the departure, he probably wouldn't even call. Therefore, Xia Shui's voice wasn't so friendly. Xia Shui had always felt that her relationship with Yang Ming was between friends and lovers. They were closer than friends, but they weren't lovers. It was just like a song that sang, friends are more than enough, lovers are not yet satisfied, sweetheart is troubled, pleasure is chaotic. Xia Shui felt that the relationship between her and Yang Ming was like this. Occasionally, there would be some little ambiguity in sweetness, but they never went further. Not just anyone could be a long-term meal ticket. Therefore, after learning that she was going to perform a mission with Yang Ming, Xia Shui had been waiting for Yang Ming's call. Finally, she got a call from Yang Ming, but it was to catch the robber. If it was any other time, Xia Shui would be very grateful if Yang Ming gave her some credit. However, since the mission was imminent, Xia Shui didn't value these credits. What she wanted was for Yang Ming to get together with her and carry out the mission together. They had to cultivate a tacit understanding between them, right? Even if they couldn't develop into a couple, they should at least be super good friends. Otherwise, it would be very dangerous on the battlefield. However, other than this call, Yang Ming didn't call again. This made Xia Shui very unhappy. Therefore, after picking up the phone, Xia Shui's voice was a little resentful and indifferent. Xia Shui, I'm Yang Ming. I'm downstairs in your unit. Are you coming down? Yang Ming naturally heard the dissatisfaction in Xia Shui's voice, but Yang Ming didn't know that this was because of him. He thought that Xia Shui was in a bad mood because she was leaving Songjiang City. Oh, you wait. Xia Shui said faintly and hung up the phone. Yang Ming was stunned. He felt that Xia Shui's attitude was a bit bad. Could it be that what the fatty said was true? This lady's temper is rising again? The fatty looked at Yang Ming strangely. Yang Ming's phone wasn't soundproof. The fatty naturally heard Xia Shui's words clearly. You and her, are there conflicts? The fatty hesitated and asked carefully. Nope. Yang Ming shook his head and smiled. Who knows what wrong medicine she ate today? She actually has this kind of tone. After a while, Xia Shui came out of the office building. Today, Xia Shui didn't wear a police uniform. Perhaps it was because she was going to perform a mission. She only wore casual clothes, blue jeans, and a beige t-shirt. It was very different from the previous Xia Shui. Her whole person was full of an indescribable youthfulness. Xia Shui, here. Yang Ming opened the door and got out of the car. He walked to Xia Shui and couldn't help but tease, "You're very beautiful today." Really? Xia Shui was slightly stunned, then she looked at Yang Ming and asked with some joy. Really? Yang Ming looked at Xia Shui, who was originally cloudy, and suddenly became sunny. No matter how stupid he was, he understood the reason. Xia Shui's temper today, was it directed at me? Humph, you have good taste. Xia Shui glared at Yang Ming and said as she walked, "I thought you fell into a spider cave these few days and couldn't come out." Spider cave? Yang Ming was stunned and looked at Xia Shui with some confusion. What spider cave? Nothing. It's just a gentle village, a hero's mound, said Xia Shui. What? Yang Ming was stunned. Gentle village, a hero's mound? Yang Ming suddenly didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It turned out that Xia Shui's words were referring to this. It seemed that Xia Shui was still holding a grudge about the matter of him walking with Suya on the beach. Yang Ming admitted that there was indeed some unclear relationship between him and Xia Shui. Although they hadn't seen each other for a while, some feelings couldn't be forgotten without seeing each other. It could be seen that Xia Shui also had some feelings for him, especially after the two of them went through the incident at the Wang family base together. It was just that at that time, the sudden incident of Zhou Jiejia prevented the relationship between Yang Ming and Xia Shui from continuing to develop. Otherwise, it would have been easy for the two of them to get together with the feelings they had accumulated in the Wang family base. The sudden incident of Zhou Jiejia made Yang Ming focus all his energy on Zhou Jiejia, and he ignored Xia Shui's feelings. However, although Yang Ming ignored Xia Shui, it didn't mean that the relationship between him and Xia Shui had faded. This time, when he left Songjiang City to perform the mission, if he didn't go with Xia Shui, then Yang Ming would probably look for Xia Shui in advance. However, because he was performing the mission together with Xia Shui, then Yang Ming didn't need to appease Xia Shui in advance. Therefore, Yang Ming waited until now to call Xia Shui. He didn't expect Xia Shui's temper to rise. Xia Shui didn't explain anything more, but directly got into the car. She didn't want outsiders to see the relationship between her and Yang Ming. Chapter 1997. However, after getting in the car, Xia Shui returned to her usual capable self. She extended her hand and politely shook the fat man's hand. "Hello, I am Xia Shui from the Songjiang City Criminal Police Team. Are you the fat man that Captain Xia mentioned?" Fat Man was the code name of the fat man. In the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, everyone called him that. "Hello, Comrade Xia Shui. I am the fat man." The fat man quickly shook hands with Xia Shui enthusiastically and said, "I am responsible for the next part of the journey. I will send you to Yenjing and then return." "Oh? You are going to Yenjing too?" Yang Ming was slightly stunned. "After you send us to the airport, we can go to Yenjing by ourselves, right? You don't have to go, right?" "Yang Ming, this is Captain Xia's order. I have to carry it out. You don't have to say this anymore." The fat man laughed. "Okay." Yang Ming nodded. Since it was an order from above, Yang Ming didn't have to change it. The fat man waited for Yang Ming and Xia Shui to get in the car. After they sat down, he slowly started the car. "Fat man, this is my ID and the letter of recommendation for temporary transfer to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Can you check it?" Xia Shui handed a portfolio to the fat man. "No need. Since Yang Ming knows you, there is no need for this." The fat man waved his hand. Xia Shui nodded and put the portfolio aside. She didn't speak anymore. Why? Were you angry before? Yang Ming glanced at Xia Shui next to him and asked with a smile. Hey. Xia Shui glared at Yang Ming and whispered, what are you talking about? Is there someone in front? Hee hee, it doesn't matter. The fat man is one of us. We are old friends. Isn't that right, fat man? Yang Ming waved his hand indifferently and smiled. That's right, Yang Ming and I are old friends. It's fine. You guys can talk. Don't mind me. The fatty also noticed something unusual. Although Xia Shui's expression and tone were serious when they got on the bus, he clearly saw the situation between Xia Shui and Yang Ming before they got on the bus. At that time, the fatty guessed that there was some other relationship between Yang Ming and Xia Shui. Xia Shui blushed. She glared at Yang Ming and said, why didn't you call me? Don't you know that we're going on a mission together? The tacit understanding between team members is very important. What Xia Shui said is right. Usually, in our place, the other half is also an agent. There are more chances for couples to go on missions together. This can be considered as telepathy. Fatty interrupted with a smile. As a result, Xia Shui's face became even redder. Her original intention was as such, but when the fatty said it out loud, she naturally felt a little embarrassed. In Xia Shui's opinion, this mission was also extremely dangerous. It was unknown whether the two of them could come back alive, so the tacit cooperation between each other was even more important. However, Yang Ming didn't care at all. He was busy picking up girls all day long. You're going to die, and you're still picking up girls. If you die, what will your girls do? Become widows for you? Take advantage of this time. You should quickly cut off all ties with them so that you won't harm others when you die. If you are really afraid of not being able to touch a woman for a long time after performing a mission, then you can pick me up. Am I not going to die with you? Xia Shui was very conflicted. To be honest, she also considered the relationship with Yang Ming. Although she and Yang Ming were a little different in age, the difference wasn't much. Therefore, Xia Shui thought about it again and again and felt that she was more suitable with Yang Ming. After all, the two of them were about to perform a mission together. It was a very dangerous mission. After they went, to put it bluntly, they wouldn't be able to return. Therefore, Xia Shui felt that since the two of them were going to die together, it was better to take this opportunity to go further. However, Yang Ming didn't have this intention at all. Xia Shui was very angry. Really angry. If it weren't for Yang Ming, Xia Shui wouldn't have agreed to participate in this mission no matter what. Why would he want to perform a dangerous mission instead of being a good criminal police captain? Xia Shui, you also know the danger of our mission. Therefore, before I leave, I should cherish the remaining time and reunite with my women. Yang Ming said seriously, but you and I, along the way, have plenty of time to be together. The fatty decisively shut up. It seems that these two are really having an affair. You know that this mission is dangerous, yet you still want to harm so many women? Don't you know that you can't come back? Xia Shui was a little agitated. If you are rational, you should break up with them. I can't break up. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and said, I'm different from others. How are you different? You're not a Casanova. Xia Shui snorted. If you are with me, then you can't break up, said Yang Ming. Nonsense. Xia Shui naturally didn't believe Yang Ming's words. It's not nonsense. This is the truth. Yang Ming shrugged and said, you must have learned a lot about voodoo before performing this mission, right? So what if I did? Xia Shui looked at Yang Ming with some doubts. She didn't understand the purpose of Yang Ming suddenly mentioning voodoo. In fact, this is the case. I am also infected with a voodoo called heart voodoo. As Yang Ming spoke until here, he suddenly lowered his voice, leaned close to Xia Shui's ear, and whispered, actually, this is the case. Yang Ming carefully explained the characteristics and transmission method of the heart voodoo to Xia Shui. Really? Xia Shui suddenly blushed after listening to Yang Ming's words. She didn't know if it was true or not. After all, what Yang Ming said was really bizarre and outrageous, but Xia Shui didn't think that Yang Ming was lying to her. After all, this kind of weird thing couldn't be made up. If Yang Ming really made up this, then he could be a novelist. Of course, it's true. Yang Ming nodded. So, this is why I can't give up on them, and they can't choose another man. You are really harmful. After Xia Shui heard Yang Ming's words, she suddenly said with some dissatisfaction. Yeah, so I have been thinking about keeping a distance from you because I am afraid that I will harm you. Yang Ming said with some truth. In fact, Yang Ming just knew about the voodoo. It was just an excuse for Xia Shui. You are annoying. Xia Shui rolled her eyes at Yang Ming and didn't speak. Yang Ming's words gave Xia Shui a big shock. It was hard for Xia Shui to accept it for a while. She was now thinking about her future. If she and Yang Ming went further, would she also be infected with some voodoo? Then, would she be tied up by Yang Ming for the rest of her life? Of course, Xia Shui didn't reject being with Yang Ming, but there were too many women around Yang Ming. Chapter 1998. In addition to Chen Mengyan, Zhou Jiejia, and Lin Jiyun whom she knew, there was also Suya whom she just met, and Lan Ling who put voodoo on Yang Ming. Other than that, Xia Shui didn't know if there was anyone else. In her bones, Xia Shui was a very independent woman. She didn't want to share love with other women. Even if she wanted to share, she couldn't share too much. Otherwise, she might not be able to see Yang Ming once a week in the future. She couldn't even get close to him once. Therefore, Xia Shui was hesitant, but fortunately, there was still time to choose. Anyway, it wasn't wrong to establish some tacit understanding with Yang Ming first. Maybe this time, both of them couldn't come back. What was the use of thinking so much? Thinking of this, Xia Shui sighed slightly and didn't say anything. Yang Ming looked at Xia Shui's hesitant look and didn't say anything more. He also became silent. Soon, the fat man drove on the highway to Donghai City. Yang Ming turned to look at Xia Shui and found that Xia Shui was still a little silent, so he decided to change the topic. Xia Shui, how much do you know about this mission? Asked Yang Ming. I don't know very much. It is said that after arriving at the Beijing headquarters, someone will explain the situation of the mission in detail to us, and we will have a special training before the mission, said Xia Shui. Special training? Yang Ming frowned. He didn't know about the special training before. If he knew that there would be special training, then Yang Ming would go a few days later. He didn't have enough time at home. Yeah, it is said that the instructor is hired from abroad to train us. I am still looking forward to this training. Xia Shui nodded and said. Instructor from abroad? Yang Ming didn't think it was a big deal. He just felt that this matter was a bit unreliable. Yang Ming felt that it was a waste of time. Yeah, it seems that you don't seem to have a cold. Xia Shui looked at Yang Ming and asked curiously. It's not that I don't have a cold, but I don't have a cold at all. I think the special training is a waste of time. Yang Ming shrugged. Why? Are you very powerful? You don't need special training? Xia Shui was a little unhappy with Yang Ming's attitude. It was as if he was very powerful. In fact, Xia Shui did feel that Yang Ming was very powerful. But even if he was powerful, he couldn't be so arrogant, right? No, I'm not saying that I'm very powerful. It's just that special training is of no use to our mission this time. Yang Ming waved his hand and explained, the opponent we are facing this time is unknown. The opponent can't be dealt with by simple martial arts, so I think the special training is a complete waste of time. Who came up with this brainless idea? He's my brother. Xia Shui glared at Yang Ming and said angrily, you think you're the best? What makes you say that it's useless? Hee, useless is useless. Forget it, I'll talk to Brother Xia about this. Yang Ming waved his hand and said, for this mission, I think you are also very clear. The person we are dealing with is a person who has cultivated sinister voodoo. We can't use common sense to infer it. I know this, but if we improve our martial arts, we should be able to protect ourselves, right? Xia Shui said with some doubts. After the initial stage of sinister voodoo, it's invulnerable. After it's completed, it's not even afraid of rocket launchers. What can our martial arts do to him? Yang Ming sighed and explained, Xia Shui, your idea is good, but the actual situation isn't optimistic. It can't be, right? Really? Xia Shui was stunned. It's not like you didn't know how terrible the sinister voodoo he cultivated was. He used the blood of a person who had just died. Chen Afu was his disciple. Yang Ming explained, didn't we solve the case together? Moreover, these things were learned from Chen Afu and Lan Ling. It can't be fake. If that's the case, then this operation is simply a one-way trip? Xia Shui asked in surprise. Previously, she understood that the danger was because the terrain was unfamiliar. There were also some wild beasts and poisonous insects in the jungle. They didn't have any advantage, so it was like this. But now, it seemed that this wasn't the case. Instead, as Yang Ming said, Elder Yu's strength was very strong. It's not necessarily a one-way trip. I think, any martial arts can't be invincible, right? There must be some flaws, right? Yang Ming said, what we have to do is to carefully investigate Elder Yu's weaknesses and flaws, and then we find a way to break through. This is the ultimate goal. Oh. Xia Shui was stunned, and a hint of joy flashed in her eyes. It seems that Yang Ming is really not the captain for nothing. At that time, when Xia Bingbao said that he would let Yang Ming be the captain, Xia Shui also raised doubts. She was afraid that Yang Ming was inexperienced and made some wrong decisions, leading the entire team to a dead end. But now, it seemed that this was not the case. Yang Ming was a brave and resourceful person. Before he set off, he had already thought of countermeasures. Moreover, his understanding of Elder Yu was deeper than anyone else. With his girlfriend, Lan Ling, as an insider, he should be able to find Elder Yu's weakness and break through. No wonder Big Brother decisively let Yang Ming serve as the captain. It seemed that there was a reason. Thinking of this, Xia Shui breathed a sigh of relief and said, Yang Ming, are you sure you can find his weakness? 100% is definitely not, but everything has a direction. It's always better than a headless fly, right? Yang Ming shrugged and smiled. Now, my understanding of Elder Yu is actually very little. Everything has to be done according to the circumstances. That's right. My brother also said that this mission is very dangerous. He wants me to experience it before I can be entrusted with a heavy responsibility. But it is so dangerous. After I go, it is not certain whether I can come back. As long as I can come back alive, it doesn't matter whether I am entrusted with a heavy responsibility. Xia Shui said, anyway, if I die, I die. It doesn't matter. It's fine as long as you maintain a good state of mind, but at least you don't have any worries. I still have a big family, so I still can't say that I die easily. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and sighed. Who asked you to owe emotional debts everywhere? Xia Shui glared at Yang Ming and said. Heh. Yang Ming saw Xia Shui glaring again and couldn't help but laugh. Along the way, with Xia Shui, this beautiful chick, accompanying him, he wouldn't be lonely. The fat man drove silently in front. He maintained good discipline and didn't comment on the words between Yang Ming and Xia Shui. They talked as if it had nothing to do with the fat man. The car was smooth all the way. Because there was a pass issued by a special organization, the fat man drove the car directly into the airport and then parked the car in a dedicated internal parking space. Chapter 1999. Yang Ming, Xia Shui, let's get out of the car. We can board the plane from the internal passage here. After the fat man parked the car, he spoke to Yang Ming and Xia Shui. Yang Ming and Xia Shui nodded. The two people got out of the car. The fat man didn't have any luggage. He was like Xia Shui, holding a portfolio in his hand. Obviously, it was some certification documents for going to the headquarters. Yang Ming had nothing. He was a peripheral staff member, so he didn't need any recommendation letters. However, this time, Yang Ming suddenly became a core member from a peripheral staff member. Xia Bingbao directly let Yang Ming lead the team. It could be said that he put Yang Ming on the fire to roast. Yang Ming, Xia Shui, and the fat man entered the airport's internal waiting room together. Then, they boarded the plane directly from the first-class passage. All the procedures were done in advance. For the members of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, they didn't need to go through the normal security check. Fortunately, the fat man booked the first-class cabin, so it was very comfortable. It seemed that Xia Bingbao didn't save that little bit of money. Everyone was going to risk their lives. It would be meaningless if they were to save that little bit of money. Brother, according to your instructions, I have already informed the airline. Moreover, there will only be 3 of us in the first-class cabin of this flight. There won't be anyone else. The fat man patted Yang Ming's shoulder and said meaningfully. Oh. Yang Ming was slightly stunned. There were only 3 of them in the first-class cabin, so there was no problem. After all, their identities were relatively special. Some secrets might be involved in conversations along the way, so it was normal that ordinary people couldn't enter the first-class cabin. However, the fat man said that he had informed Yang Ming according to his instructions. This made Yang Ming a little puzzled. When did I inform him to book the first-class cabin? If one didn't know, they would think that Yang Ming's trip was very grand. Although Yang Ming was now a big boss with a lot of money, he didn't have the habit of chartering a flight. As for Xia Shui, she also looked at Yang Ming strangely. You let him book the entire first-class cabin? How wasteful is that? Me? Yang Ming pointed at himself, then looked at Fatty in confusion. It's Captain Xia's idea to book the first-class cabin. Besides, it won't cost much. This is the convenience of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Fatty smiled and said, our department sometimes assists the airline company with some cases, so we have some internal connections. Then what did you mean when you said that you should greet them according to my wishes? When Yang Ming heard what Fatty said, he looked at Fatty even more suspiciously. Could it be that Fatty wasn't talking about this matter? Heh heh, this, you'll know soon. The Fatty said with a chuckle. Huang Lele received an inexplicable mission today. She was informed by her superiors that she would be serving the first class of the next flight. However, she was the only waiter in the first-class cabin of this flight. It wasn't strange for her to serve the first-class cabin, but the strange thing was that she was the only stewardess in the entire first-class cabin. This was a little strange. If there wasn't anything special, why would they ask her to go by name? Although Huang Lele's thoughts were a bit simple, she had also heard of some unspoken rules. Some bosses, when they took a fancy to a certain stewardess, would ask her to serve them by name. Huang Lele thought, could I have encountered something similar? However, it was reasonable to say that many people knew about Huang Lele's background in the company, especially the main managers. They knew about the power behind Huang Lele. With such power, how could they arrange for Huang Lele to serve? But this time, the higher-ups were very determined to inform her that she must serve. After that, Huang Lele found the leader in charge and asked for the reason. However, the leader in charge didn't know the real reason because he didn't know who wanted Huang Lele to serve. However, the organization that informed him to let Huang Lele serve was very mysterious and powerful. Of course, these things couldn't be revealed to Huang Lele. After all, it involved some confidential things. Huang Lele saw that she couldn't ask anything substantial, so she could only give up asking and get on the plane reluctantly. In her opinion, this person who asked her to come must have a strong background. The company didn't want to offend him. At least his background wasn't worse than her brother's. However, Huang Lele wasn't too worried. After all, the other party was on the plane. It was impossible to force her to do anything. There were also police officers on the plane. Huang Lele would rather have a falling out with those people and even be fired from the airline company. It was impossible for her to compromise. However, Huang Lele still came to the first-class cabin with some anxiety. After all, there must be something wrong. Huang Lele was alone, and she was still a little weak. "Hello, distinguished passengers. I am Huang Lele, the first-class stewardess of this flight. I am very happy to serve you." As soon as Huang Lele entered the door of the first-class cabin, she stood at the door and spoke politely. Although Huang Lele had some resistance to this service, she was still a qualified stewardess. Naturally, she wouldn't do anything bad. Yang Ming didn't expect Huang Lele to appear here. However, when the association heard what the fat man said before, Yang Ming suddenly realized. It turned out that what the fat man said was to transfer Huang Lele to this flight. Yang Ming suddenly remembered that he did greet Xia Bingbao before and talked about this matter. However, Yang Ming just mentioned it casually. He didn't really expect it to succeed. But now that he saw Huang Lele, Yang Ming was undoubtedly still very excited. "Little beauty, come and sit next to me." Yang Ming reached out, interrupted Huang Lele's words, and greeted her. Huang Lele listened to Yang Ming's vulgar words, and suddenly her face was a little unhappy. Yang Ming's words undoubtedly let Huang Lele confirm the plan in her heart. "It seems that the first-class passenger of this flight does have some improper thoughts about me. Sorry, please respect yourself," Huang Lele said with some disgust. But, she felt that this voice seemed to be familiar. At this moment, Xia Shui also looked at Yang Ming with some disdain. What's wrong with this guy? He flirted with the stewardess as soon as he got on the plane. Does he have any morals? If Yang Ming wasn't her colleague and teammate now, Xia Shui really wanted to beat him up. Isn't it too shameful? However, after Yang Ming listened to Huang Lele's words, he couldn't help but laugh and said, "What if I don't respect myself? Who made our Lele so beautiful? When I see you, I can't help but say things that don't respect myself." Chapter 2000. Hearing this voice, Huang Lele finally realized who the person in front of her was. Although Yang Ming was sitting with his back to Huang Lele, there was no problem with this voice. Huang Lele could be 100% sure that the owner of this voice was Yang Ming. Thinking of this, Huang Lele couldn't help but be surprised. It turned out that the person who asked her to serve was actually Yang Ming. He made Huang Lele worry for a long time. This Yang Ming is really good at harming people. Her manager didn't explain it clearly. If he had told her that it was Yang Ming's matter, she wouldn't have been so nervous. "Yang Ming, you scared me." Huang Lele ran over to Yang Ming with some grievances. Xia Shui looked at the tall and exquisite Huang Lele and couldn't help but frown. Could it be that this flight attendant also has a relationship with Yang Ming? Isn't Yang Ming too fickle in love? Even the journey isn't lonely? Thinking of this, Xia Shui suddenly became mad. Originally, she thought that when she was on the plane, she could communicate more with Yang Ming. No matter what, the two of them had to perform a mission together. Tacit understanding was very important, but Yang Ming made another confidant. How could Xia Shui endure this? But in front of Huang Lele, Xia Shui couldn't lose her temper. It would seem that she was too stingy. If she could really return from Yunnan in the future, what would happen? Wouldn't her relationship with Huang Lele fall to the freezing point? In any case, Xia Shui was angry, but she chose to be silent. She sat there without saying a word and didn't look at Yang Ming. She was like a big angry frog. Hee hee, I didn't expect it. I just mentioned it before and hoped that you could come. In the end, they really arranged for you to come. Yang Ming said with a smile. That's right. The person who arranged for me to come here only told me that I had to serve the first-class passengers alone. That gave me a huge fright. He didn't tell me who asked me to come. He only said that it was a very powerful department that they couldn't afford to offend. Huang Lele sighed and sat directly next to Yang Ming. She held Yang Ming's hand. Why didn't you tell them that you were looking for me? I didn't know that I really found you. I just talked to my superiors. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. He didn't expect this matter to scare Huang Lele. When they look for you, naturally, they won't mention my name, but they will say it in the name of our department. Ah. Your superior? Huang Lele was stunned. She was somewhat inexplicable. She didn't know who Yang Ming's superior was. Wasn't Yang Ming himself the boss? Why is there a superior? In Huang Lele's impression, Yang Ming wasn't a person who was easily recognized. It was also because of Yang Ming's overbearingness and arrogance in the Nanxing casino that Huang Lele was deeply attracted. Now, why did Yang Ming turn to work for others? Yeah, it just so happens that I want to talk to you about this matter. Yang Ming's face was straight as he said to Huang Lele, this time, I went to Yanjing and asked you to come on the plane because of time constraints. Time constraints? What do you mean? Huang Lele was stunned and somewhat inexplicable. Actually. Yang Ming hesitated and decided to start from the beginning. Lele, in fact, I won't hide it from you. The 3 people in the first-class cabin are my colleagues. We all belong to the same agent department, specializing in performing some dangerous tasks. Ah. You are an agent? Huang Lele widened her eyes and stared at Yang Ming incredulously. However, she did not doubt Yang Ming's words. After all, Huang Lele had always believed in Yang Ming's words. Moreover, Huang Lele's superior had also told her very clearly that a very powerful department had greeted them and let Huang Lele serve in the first-class cabin of this flight. If it was not a very powerful department, then Huang Lele's superior did not have to be so obedient. However, if the association heard Yang Ming say at this moment that he was an agent, then his department was strong and powerful enough. This was consistent with each other. What agent? It's just an outsider. Xia Shui interjected with a hum. Ah. Huang Lele couldn't help but turn her head and look at Xia Shui. She was slightly stunned. She didn't understand why this person interrupted. It seemed that she was full of resentment toward Yang Ming. Xia Shui was just excited and said it casually. However, when she saw Huang Lele turn to look at her, Xia Shui was a little embarrassed. She quickly lowered her head and pretended that these words were not said by her. He. Yang Ming couldn't help but smile. It's also an outsider. Because I don't usually go, I'm only sent out when it is more dangerous. Ah. They let you be cannon fodder? How can this be? Huang Lele was stunned, but she misunderstood Yang Ming's meaning. Let you, an outsider, go to dangerous things? Sweat. Yang Ming suddenly sweated. It's not that dangerous things let me, an outsider, go, but this is the most suitable for me to go. The outsider is not necessarily the weakest, but it can be the strongest. Humph. Xia Shui snorted after listening. What's strong about it? You said before that your life and death is uncertain. Huang Lele frowned. Although she was very simple, she was also a little unhappy with Xia Shui's sudden interruption. After all, she was chatting with Yang Ming. She didn't want outsiders to cause trouble. However, Xia Shui's life and death is uncertain made Huang Lele a little worried. Yang Ming, is what she said true? Life and death is uncertain. So dangerous? That's indeed the case. Yang Ming nodded, but he didn't hide it. So, this time, I'm not sure if I can come back. That's why I asked you to come over and see you for the last time. Ah. Huang Lele was dumbfounded when she heard Yang Ming admit it. Her tears couldn't help but flow down. She was very nervous. Although Yang Ming said before that he was going to perform a dangerous mission, and Xia Shui also said that this mission was uncertain, but it was Xia Shui who said it after all. But at this moment, when she heard Yang Ming admit it personally, she was suddenly overwhelmed. Huang Leilei's mind was simple. When she heard Yang Ming say that he wanted to see her one last time, it must be the last time. Thinking of this, Huang Leilei suddenly cried. She leaned on Yang Ming's body, and tears flowed down like a river. Xia Shui saw that Huang Leilei suddenly cried and opened her mouth. She was suddenly overwhelmed and guilty. She didn't expect Huang Leilei to be so fragile. If she knew this, Xia Shui definitely wouldn't have interjected. Xia Shui's character was very strong, so she didn't think before speaking. But now that she thought about it carefully, wasn't she just as fragile in the past? Thinking of the time when she just entered the workplace from school and interned in the police force. Chapter 2001. Wasn't she also very fragile? At that time, if it weren't for Yang Ming's help and explanation, Xia Shui probably wouldn't have the current achievements. Thinking of this, Xia Shui felt a little embarrassed. Every girl had a fragile side, but Xia Shui was now hiding her fragile side. But Huang Leilei was different. Huang Leilei was still a normal girl. That Leilei, right? Don't cry. I'm just talking nonsense. Although our mission this time is dangerous, there is still a way to solve it. Xia Shui couldn't help but say. Hee, okay, Leilei, don't cry. Yang Ming also smiled and said, although the mission is difficult, it is definitely not more difficult than the previous trip to Africa. In the previous trip to Africa, didn't I help your family solve the crisis smoothly? After listening to Yang Ming's words, Huang Leilei also thought of the previous incident in Africa. Yes, it was so dangerous at that time. Yang Ming returned safely under the rain of bullets. The current mission, no matter how dangerous it was, it couldn't be more dangerous than the one in Africa, right? Yang Ming was facing an entire private armed force alone at that time. That was simply not a heavyweight, but Yang Ming still completed the mission safely. Thinking of this, Huang Leilei breathed a sigh of relief again. Then, are you scaring me? Huang Leilei pouted and looked a little unhappy. Hee, it's not that I'm scaring you. It's just that this time the mission is relatively long. I may not see you for a while, so I asked you to come. Yang Ming nodded and said, fortunately, I have to train in Yenjing for a while. When the time comes, you can take a leave from the company and accompany me in Yenjing. Okay. Huang Leilei nodded and was relieved. Then, when you perform the mission, you must be careful. Hee, I will. Yang Ming coaxed and lied to let Huang Leilei relax, but her heart still couldn't calm down for a long time. The more it was like this, the heavier the burden on Yang Ming's shoulders became. The expectations of his parents, the longing of his lover, the concern of his friends, and the responsibility of Yang Ming towards his teammates were all intertwined together. Yang Ming had to return safely. When Xia Shui heard Yang Ming's words, she was a little angry. Of course, collective training was collective training. Since you're participating in the intensive training, why are you still going out to play? Were they going on a vacation or training? However, because she was afraid that Huang Leilei would cry again, Xia Shui still didn't say anything. She just closed her mouth. The plane slowly took off. As expected, there were only Yang Ming and a few others in the first-class cabin. There were no other passengers, and no other stewardesses came to disturb them. Presumably, the staff on this flight had received the order before. However, although there were only a few people, it was impossible for Yang Ming to have anything to do with Huang Leilei. After all, there were other people present. Yang Ming couldn't just ignore them. Therefore, Yang Ming just accompanied Huang Leilei and asked about her recent situation and the situation of the Huang family. What Yang Ming didn't expect was that the Huang family was actually preparing to propose to build an airport on Island X. Of course, this airport was funded by the Huang family, but the rights were still owned by the current Kars regime on Island X. However, there was only one request: which was to let Huang Lele manage the newly established airport and airline company. Of course, this request was not a request at all. General Kars naturally knew the relationship between Huang Lele and Yang Ming. This airport and airline company belonged to Huang Lele, which was equivalent to Yang Ming's property. Why wouldn't Kars do it? So, he readily agreed to their proposal. Today, the Huang family's status was very high on Island X. This was also thanks to Huang Lele. As for the Huang family's approach, Yang Ming just smiled faintly. He naturally understood that the Huang family was actually doing this to please him. The purpose was also to win more support. On Island X, although General Kars was nominally in control of the entire island, the boss behind the scenes was Yang Ming. It could be said bluntly that if Yang Ming said that Kars was a general, then he was a general. If Yang Ming said that he was not, then he was immediately nothing. Because now all the armed forces on Island X were controlled by Li Chang and the Black Butterfly assassin group. Although Kars was nominally the highest officer on the island, in fact, if he betrayed Yang Ming, he would immediately become alone. In the minds of Li Chang and the Black Butterfly assassin group, Yang Ming was a godlike existence. They were absolutely loyal to Yang Ming. Of course, in addition to being loyal to Yang Ming, the Black Butterfly assassin group was also loyal to Wang Xiaoyan. However, Wang Xiaoyan was a smart woman. She was gradually fading out of the power center. She was also at ease to be Yang Ming's woman in the future and not manage the assassin group. Xia Shui didn't know that the person behind the scenes on Island X was actually Yang Ming. When she heard Huang Lele say that her family wanted to build an airport and set up an airline company on Island X, she suddenly felt that it was a bit unbelievable. What kind of place was Island X? Xia Shui was also clear about it. It used to be a very chaotic place. It was controlled by some private armed forces for a long time, and there were constant wars. However, not long ago, the leader of the private armed forces on the island, General Kars, got the support of Europe's largest family, the Buffon family. He suddenly settled all the armed forces on the other islands and established the Kars regime. Of course, Xia Shui was not surprised. It was like this abroad. Those families had unparalleled influence and connections. It was very normal to secretly support the regime of a small country. Moreover, with their support, X Island's international status would naturally be confirmed. Originally, Xia Shui thought that the Island X regime was just a puppet of the Buffon family. The Buffon family was the entire behind-the-scenes controller, but now it seemed that this was not the case. Xia Shui was not stupid. Huang Lele and Yang Ming talked about the Huang family's investment on Island X, and Yang Ming smiled and nodded very calmly as if this matter was his final decision. I still welcome your family's normal investment on the island, but you don't have to do this deliberately in the future. I am not short of money. As long as they abide by their duties and are not as arrogant as the Li family at that time, I can still guarantee their wealth. After all, they are your family. My relationship with second brother Huang is also good. Yang Ming nodded and said, I don't understand this very much. If you say it is possible, then it is possible. Huang Lele nodded. In fact, the somewhat silly Huang Lele was not valued by the Huang family. She was just used as a bargaining chip for marriage, but now it seemed that Huang Lele was the Huang family's lucky star. Chapter 2002. The current Huang family could be said to be different from the past. In the upper class of Singapore, it had become a top family. Of course, all of this was thanks to Huang Lele. If it weren't for Huang Lele, how could they be so proud now? Although the casino in Las Vegas was also under Huang Lele's name, the Huang family did get some benefits. At least, with the help of this Nanjing casino, the Huang family's business expanded to Las Vegas. Other supporting entertainment and hotel industries could be opened smoothly, and it would not be too abrupt. Xia Shui was even more surprised when she heard Yang Ming's words. Listening to Yang Ming's words, it seemed that the final decision of Island X was in his hands. What the hell is going on? Isn't Island X owned by the Buffon family? How is it related to Yang Ming? Xia Shui was not a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau before. Naturally, she would not know these secrets. However, these things that Yang Ming did were not secrets in the eyes of the people in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. At least Xia Bingbao knew it clearly, and the fatty knew a little about it too. His level could already access some confidential files. Although Yang Ming's file was confidential, Xia Bingbao sent the fatty to Song Jiang to take care of Yang Ming's relatives and friends. Therefore, Yang Ming's file was naturally open to the fatty. In order to better complete the task, the fatty also read Yang Ming's information many times in detail, including Yang Ming's women, relatives, friends, and other social relationships. There were also some of Yang Ming's investments. Among them was Island X. Yang Ming did not intend to hide these things from Xia Bingbao. Yang Ming's ultimate purpose was to retire from the underworld. It was impossible without Xia Bingbao's support at that time. Xia Bingbao obviously acquiesced to what Yang Ming did. He did not raise any objections because Yang Ming had agreed to this task. If Yang Ming really completed this task, it was equivalent to Xia Bingbao owing Yang Ming a huge favor. To put it bluntly, Yang Ming's so-called identity in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was actually forced by Xia Bingbao. Yang Ming had no obligation to do such a dangerous thing. However, Yang Ming did it in the end. This also showed that Yang Ming was a person who was affectionate, righteous, and responsible. He would finish what he started. Since Yang Ming was like this, he could not fail Yang Ming. If possible, Xia Bingbao would give him some necessary support after Yang Ming's retirement. Xia Bingbao, Xia Bingbao, Xia Bingbao, Xia Bingbao, Xia Bingbao, Xia Bingbao. Xia Shui, Xia Bingbao. She finally couldn't help but ask, Yang Ming, what does Island X have to do with you? Yang Ming hesitated a little and didn't intend to hide it from Xia Shui. After all, in the first-class cabin, it seemed that except for Xia Shui who didn't know about this matter, everyone else knew about this matter. Looking at the fatty's calm face, Yang Ming also felt that he must know these things. Then Yang Ming didn't need to hide it from Xia Shui, so he smiled and said to Xia Shui, in fact, Island X is my private territory. It is internationally recognized. Ah. Island X is your private territory? Really? Xia Shui was shocked and looked at Yang Ming with some surprise. Yes, you didn't hear it wrong. Island X is mine. Yang Ming nodded and said seriously, at present, all the investments in Island X are under my instructions. Then, General Kars, he. Xia Shui looked at Yang Ming in surprise and asked. General Kars was supported by me. You should understand, right? Yang Ming said with a smile. Ah. Isn't he supported by the Buffon family? Then you and the Buffon family. Xia Shui listened to Yang Ming's words and looked at Yang Ming in surprise. Are you also working for the Buffon family? He, the current patriarch of the Buffon family, old Buffon, is my apprentice. He provided me with some help on Island X. Yang Ming explained with a smile. Ah. Xia Shui felt that she couldn't accept the facts in front of her. It's crazy, it's crazy. Yang Ming is actually old Buffon's master? Old Buffon is Yang Ming's apprentice? Yang Ming is actually so powerful? He has such a powerful apprentice? In fact, when the fat man first learned the news, he was also very surprised. It was just that after a long time, he was not so surprised. When the association recalled Yang Ming's powerful movements and skills in Las Vegas, the fat man was not surprised. In an unfamiliar place in Las Vegas, Yang Ming abruptly upgraded the fat man's contact station and stood firm. This energy was not something that ordinary people could have. Therefore, the fat man had nothing but admiration for Yang Ming. In his opinion, there was a certain reason why Xia Bingbao valued Yang Ming so much. Although the mission this time was dangerous, only Yang Ming could be competent. Yang Ming, you are actually the behind-the-scenes boss of Island X? Then, are you the king of Island X? Xia Shui was really a little crazy. She really couldn't imagine that Yang Ming was actually the master of Island X. A year ago, he was just an ordinary high school student. Because of Lin Jian's matter, he was almost facing prison. But now, a year had passed, and Yang Ming really stood at the peak of the world and became one of the most powerful people in the world. Of course, this power was hidden. But Xia Shui understood that this was definitely not an exaggeration. Just by virtue of Yang Ming's identity as Old Buffon's master, it was enough to be proud of the upper class of Europe. Moreover, he was also the master of Island X. On the island, he had legal armed forces. This was definitely not to be underestimated. What did the Buffon family do? It was one of the largest arms dealers in Europe, and he was Yang Ming's apprentice. It could be foreseen how powerful the armed forces of Island X were, even stronger than those small countries. Moreover, with this relationship with Old Buffon, even if Yang Ming didn't have such armed forces, no one dared to touch Yang Ming. After all, going against Yang Ming was going against the Buffon family. However, Xia Shui still didn't know about Yang Ming's other shocking identity. The other identity was Yang Ming's Real trump card. That was, the three most powerful assassin organizations in the world were all related to Yang Ming. Two of them were actually controlled by Yang Ming, and the other was controlled in the home of Yang Ming's woman, Wang Xiaoyan. Who dared to provoke such a powerful background? No one liked to provoke an assassin. This kind of person was more difficult to deal with than provoking an armed force. You can't have a master protecting you 24 hours a day, right? Moreover, even if you have a master around you, you may not be the opponent of an assassin. Chapter 2003. Of course, Yang Ming wouldn't easily tell Xia Shui about this identity. At least, even Chen Mengyan and the others didn't know about this identity. Hee, so, I have so many girlfriends. Do you still think it's outrageous? Yang Ming asked with a smile. This time, Xia Shui finally shook her head. Yes, here, although the existence of 3 wives and 4 concubines is not allowed, there are many countries in the world that allow polygamy. Yang Ming can go to other countries to register his marriage. Moreover, Yang Ming was now the actual owner of Island X. Then, on Island X, Yang Ming was the absolute authority, even the existence of a behind-the-scenes king. With so many girlfriends, naturally, they were the same as the princess consort. There was no question of whether it was outrageous or not. Yang Ming, I really didn't expect. Xia Shui had a new understanding of Yang Ming today. Although Xia Shui generally knew that Yang Ming had an extraordinary change in this year, she didn't know that Yang Ming's change was so big. Even Yang Ming already had an island. No wonder so many women favored Yang Ming. Xia Shui admitted that she was really tempted. In the past, she was worried about the other women around Yang Ming. She always made up her mind to follow Yang Ming wholeheartedly because she didn't want to live with Yang Ming for a lifetime without a title. Although a title was illusory, for a woman, this illusory thing was extremely important. Xia Shui was the same as others, she cared about this thing very much. So, she didn't know what to do in the future after she really got together with Yang Ming. But now, this didn't exist at all. On Island X, Yang Ming would become the rule maker. There, Yang Ming would do whatever he said. Xia Shui fell into deep thought. After a while, she whispered, "It's not outrageous, but I didn't expect." Yang Ming, how did you do it? How did he do it? Xia Shui's question stunned Yang Ming. That's right, how did I do it? Until now, even Yang Ming was a little puzzled. How exactly did he do all this? Of course, there was his own hard work and effort, but there was also the existence of luck. If it wasn't for that pair of glasses that could see through things, see far, and see at night, Yang Ming wouldn't be where he was today. Of course, Fang Tian was also an important factor in Yang Ming's success. Without Fang Tian's favor, there wouldn't be today's king of assassins, Yang Ming. Even if Yang Ming could see through things, he was only a millionaire now. It was impossible for him to have such great achievements, and it was impossible for him to accept old Buffon as his disciple. It was even more impossible for him to interfere with the affairs of Island X. However, all of this could be attributed to good deeds being rewarded with good deeds. If Yang Ming didn't have compassion at the beginning and didn't help the old man who set up the stall, he wouldn't have gotten this pair of glasses that could see through things. Secondly, if Yang Ming didn't stand up for Fang Tian in the detention center and didn't run around for Fang Tian's affairs afterward, it was impossible for him to get Fang Tian's favor and accept him as his disciple. So, it wasn't an exaggeration to say that good deeds were rewarded with good deeds. After Yang Ming obtained these achievements, he had always been looking at people and things with a fair heart. He would still stand up for injustice. He was still the hot-blooded Yang Ming. When he saw injustice, he would take the initiative to stand up. Including this time's matter with Elder Yu, it was the same. Although he could stand outside of the matter, he didn't. He took the initiative to treat all of this as his own responsibility. Although Yang Ming had never regretted doing all of this, from the perspective of professional ethics, Yang Ming wasn't a qualified assassin. An assassin should be cold and ruthless. If it wasn't related to him, he couldn't do it. Forget it. After I accept an apprentice in the future, I will train him to be a qualified assassin. Yang Ming himself couldn't do it in this life. It's nothing. It was a strange combination of circumstances and coincidences. Yang Ming wasn't willing to say too much about his own success. After all, the chance was too great, and it couldn't be replicated. Xia Shui nodded and didn't ask anything more. She was just lamenting. She didn't really want to know how Yang Ming did it. However, after knowing some of Yang Ming's things, Xia Shui didn't have the previous jealousy toward Huang Lele. The nature of her profession had turned Xia Shui from an impulsive chick into a rational policewoman. Now, it was impossible for her to fight with Yang Ming in the police station, and it was impossible for her to pull out a gun to scare Yang Ming on the street. Therefore, after Xia Shui knew Yang Ming's ultimate goal, she began to think about her own matters. The current Xia Shui was actually not very interested in promotion and meritorious service. As she became more mature, Xia Shui was more and more like a girl. She began to think about her life. In fact, most girls' thoughts were very simple. Their career was not as important as their life. Xia Shui was thinking about her future. If she really wanted to be with Yang Ming, then Xia Shui had to give up everything now. In the future, she would live in seclusion with Yang Ming on Island X. What kind of comfortable feeling would that be? It was worth looking forward to just thinking about it. The journey has just begun. Tell me about the things between you and Lele. Xia Shui looked at Huang Lele, who was snuggling in Yang Ming's arms, and said with some envy. She was really jealous of the women around Yang Ming. They were so lucky to find Yang Ming, a person who could transcend the rules of the secular world, and give them a reasonable identity. If it were someone else, it would seem like a joke to give all the lovers around them a legal identity. But Yang Ming was different. Yang Ming could be said to be a man of his word. Okay. In fact, the situation between Lele and me was more interesting. I was pushed in reverse. Yang Ming thought about it and found it funny. Huh? Xia Shui's eyes widened. She was shocked by Yang Ming's words. Pushed in reverse? It can't be, right? Huang Lele is so bold. She can actually push and reverse Yang Ming? It doesn't look like it, right? Huang Lele seems to be a very simple and innocent girl. She doesn't look so fierce at all. Xia Shui even thought that it was possible to push and reverse Yang Ming, but Huang Lele. This is a bit unbelievable. However, looking at Huang Lele's appearance, she only blushed but didn't make any refute. Could it be that what Yang Ming said was true? Was the situation at the beginning really like this? Why? Are you surprised? But the situation at the beginning was like this. Yang Ming said with a bitter smile. It can't be, right? So powerful? Xia Shui was even more interested. Chapter 2004. Therefore, Yang Ming told Xia Shui about the matter with Huang Lele. Although it was for Xia Shui to hear, it was also his own memory of the beautiful past. Yang Ming was about to leave, so he began to become sentimental. When he thought of the past, he always had some emotions. The matter of going to Macau was still vivid in his mind. Here, he actually met the three girls in his life: Suya, Wang Xiaoyan, and Huang Lele. Yang Ming never thought that this trip would bring such a big harvest. Therefore, after Xia Shui asked, Yang Ming's thoughts were like a flood in his mind, and the chatterbox was opened. Of course, the matter of Suya and Wang Xiaoyan, Yang Ming wasn't going to tell Xia Shui. First, Xia Shui didn't know that the Suya he met at the beach was the famous celebrity Wang Xiaoyan. Second, the identity of Wang Xiaoyan was very sensitive. He couldn't simply tell Xia Shui. You and Lele actually know each other like this? I really didn't expect that. Yang Ming, you also know how to gamble. Why does it sound like the god of gamblers in the movie? Xia Shui was somewhat surprised that Yang Ming could actually help Huang Lele's family's casino, and he even won a big victory. If I didn't have this ability, your brother wouldn't let me be the captain. He only let you be my underling. Yang Ming smiled. You're still being arrogant. What is it? Isn't it just gambling? I can do it too. Xia Shui said. Do you want to bet? Yang Ming looked at Xia Shui with a smile and asked. So what if I want to? Do you want to gamble with me now? Xia Shui said, okay, who is afraid of who? Come on, what do you want to bet? Or, let's bet. As Yang Ming said this, he leaned in Xia Shui's ear and whispered, let's bet on the color of the underwear you wear today. Huh? Xia Shui's face suddenly turned red. She didn't expect Yang Ming to be so bold. He actually wanted to bet this thing. Xia Shui didn't know about Yang Ming's X-ray vision ability. Although she probably guessed that he had some special abilities, she didn't know that he had X-ray vision. How is it? Do you want to bet? Yang Ming asked with a smile. When Xia Shui heard Yang Ming say this, she thought that Yang Ming deliberately wanted to tease her. However, the more he acted like this, the more Xia Shui wanted to mess with Yang Ming. Didn't you want to guess the color of my underwear? Didn't you want to tease me? Fine, I'll let you guess. But what if you don't get it right? Thinking of this, Xia Shui made up her mind and said with a smile, okay, since you proposed it, then we'll bet according to your idea. But since you're the one who proposed the bet, then shouldn't I be the one to decide the stakes? Alright, then you tell me. What is the stake? Yang Ming asked indifferently. The stake. And, let's do this. If you guess wrong, then after you go to Yunnan, you have to promise me one thing. Xia Shui thought about it and said. What is it? Asked Yang Ming. I haven't thought about it yet. You have to promise me first, said Xia Shui. Okay, then I promise you. Yang Ming nodded and said. Okay, then let's start the bet. Xia Shui said with satisfaction, now you can guess. It's not right, right? Yang Ming shook his head and looked at Xia Shui. He didn't guess directly. What's not right? Asked Xia Shui. You only said that if I lose, I have to agree to one of your conditions. But what if I win and you lose? Why didn't you say that? Yang Ming asked with a smile. This. Xia Shui played a little trick before. She thought that Yang Ming wouldn't find out. In the end, Yang Ming suddenly exposed her little trick. Let's do it this way. For the sake of fairness, you have to promise me one thing, said Yang Ming. Okay, then it's settled. Xia Shui hesitated and nodded. But you have to tell me first. If I lose, what do you want me to promise you? You don't want to tell me. Why should I tell you? Asked Yang Ming. I'm a woman. You're a man, so you have to let me win, said Xia Shui. Student Xia Shui, I seem to have discussed this topic with you before. You do legal work. You know that men and women are equal. Why are you still saying such childish words? Asked Yang Ming. I don't care. Anyway, you have to let me win. Xia Shui began to act shamelessly. Okay, then I'll tell you now. Yang Ming's evil interest rose in his heart. He leaned in Xia Shui's ear and whispered, what I want you to do is to be my woman. How about it? Do you agree? Ha! Xia Shui was stunned. Her face suddenly blushed. The relationship between Xia Shui and Yang Ming could be said to be a little closer than friends, but a little farther than boyfriend and girlfriend. Yang Ming suddenly used such provocative words to break the relationship between the two. It made Xia Shui a little stunned. She couldn't accept it for a while. Why? You don't agree? Asked Yang Ming provocatively. If you agree, then you agree. What's wrong with that? But let's say it first. You have to guess all of them correctly. Underwear, and bra. You can't miss anything. Xia Shui also played a trick. Her underwear was a floral color. No matter what color Yang Ming guessed, as long as he didn't completely guess it, she could say that it was wrong. However, after Xia Shui finished speaking, she was a little worried. In her heart, Yang Ming's figure had already been imprinted in her heart. Even Xia Shui herself couldn't say clearly when Yang Ming's figure was imprinted in her heart. The two of them had experienced many things together. From the beginning, they were quarrelsome lovers. Now, they were extremely close friends. It could be said that the relationship between the two of them had changed gradually, step by step. It was not the kind of love at first sight that came out of nowhere. However, even so, Yang Ming suddenly made their relationship clear. It was still somewhat embarrassing. Moreover, Xia Shui couldn't tell whether Yang Ming wanted to use this to confess or was just joking. In order to avoid thinking too much, Xia Shui's tone was also a kind of playful and unconvinced. It made people unable to tell the truth. At this moment, if Xia Shui really affectionately took Yang Ming's words as a confession, then Yang Ming wouldn't be so comfortable. After all, Yang Ming just said it casually. It was just a bad taste in his heart. There was no other meaning. After all, Yang Ming felt that although the relationship between himself and Xia Shui was a little ambiguous, it was still a little short of a couple. So, Xia Shui's answer at this moment made Yang Ming very relaxed. Okay, you guessed all of them. Yang Ming was also happy to play with her. Anyway, the flight journey was boring. It was also very interesting to occasionally make a joke to change the mood. Chapter 2005. Then you guess. Xia Shui looked at Yang Ming with a smile. She didn't believe that Yang Ming could guess correctly. Let me think. Your underwear is pure white, right? Asked Yang Ming. This, you guessed right, but it's useless to guess one right. You continue. Xia Shui wasn't too surprised when she heard Yang Ming's guess. After all, guessing one right was more accidental. Most girls' underwear was pure white. This was a clean color. Many people preferred it. Therefore, Xia Shui didn't feel anything when Yang Ming said it. Instead, she said sarcastically, "Does your girlfriend like white underwear?" Hee hee, so, you like it too? Then you are quite qualified. It seems that my bet is still very good. Yang Ming said with a smile, I will continue to guess. Then I guess that your bra is beige, right? Xia Shui was stunned. Yang Ming could guess the color of the underwear. Xia Shui didn't have much doubt. After all, the color of the underwear was very common. It was white. This was a very popular color. However, the color of the bra was a bit rare. Yellow bras weren't liked by all girls. The popular colors were only white and black. Occasionally, there were pink and flesh-colored ones. However, beige was rare. Therefore, after Xia Shui was guessed correctly by Yang Ming, she was so surprised. Isn't this guy too powerful? It's fine if he guessed the color of the underwear, but he even guessed the color of the bra? Xia Shui frowned. This kid wouldn't go to my window to peep at me this morning, right? But it was impossible when she thought about it. Xia Shui lived on a very high floor. Moreover, she closed the curtains. It was impossible to say that Yang Ming could peek at her. Thinking of this, Xia Shui could only accept it. Yang Ming was so powerful. Then, let me guess the most difficult underwear. You guessed right. Then you continue to guess. Let's see if you can guess the next one. If you don't guess right, then the previous two are invalid even if you guessed right. Said Xia Shui. Well, since you asked, I naturally have to continue to guess. Let me think. Your underwear should be white. Said Yang Ming. White? Xia Shui heard Yang Ming say white. She was relieved and disappointed. After all, if Yang Ming simply guessed white, then she would definitely lose. Because Xia Shui's underwear had a white base, but it was printed with a pink flower pattern, so Yang Ming guessed that it was white. He was afraid that it was wrong. But Yang Ming guessed wrong. Xia Shui didn't know why, but she suddenly felt disappointed and lost. Between herself and Yang Ming, I'm afraid I've lost another opportunity to break the relationship. However, Yang Ming's next words made Xia Shui slightly stunned because Yang Ming said white. Doesn't that mean that Yang Ming means that there are other colors on the underwear? Yes, white, but there should be a pattern on it, right? Yang Ming said with a smile. What pattern? Xia Shui was shocked and asked. The pattern, how would I know? I just guessed the color. Said Yang Ming. That won't work. I will only consider you correct if you guess the color and pattern. Said Xia Shui. Aren't you cheating? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. I am cheating. So what? Asked Xia Shui. Then what can I do? Yang Ming spread his hands helplessly and said, but, let me guess. Let's agree first. If I guess the pattern and color, then you have to fulfill your previous promise. Okay, it's a promise. Xia Shui didn't believe that Yang Ming could guess the color and pattern of her underwear at the same time. Then I guessed that your underwear is white with a small pink flower on it. Is that right? Asked Yang Ming. Xia Shui was stunned. She didn't expect Yang Ming to guess correctly again. What does this mean? He guessed 3 times in a row. He even guessed the color and pattern of the last mix. Is this Yang Ming really the god of gamblers? Hee, did I guess correctly? Yang Ming asked with a smile. So what if you guessed correctly? You just said that it was a flower. What kind of flower is it? Xia Shui asked. Hee, let me think. It should be rose petals, right? Yang Ming pretended to hesitate and asked. Xia Shui didn't expect Yang Ming to guess this correctly. She was stunned on the spot. How is it? Did you guess correctly? Asked Yang Ming. No. Not a single one. Xia Shui blushed. Thinking of their bet, Xia Shui didn't want to admit it. No? That's not right, right? Why do I feel that it's all right? Why don't you take it off and let me check it? Yang Ming asked with a smile. Check. You wish. Why should I check it for you? Xia Shui snorted. It's fine if you don't check it. You just have to admit that I guessed correctly. Otherwise, if you say that I guessed wrong, you have to show evidence, right? Without evidence, you can't talk nonsense. Yang Ming said with a smile. I guessed correctly. You guessed correctly, okay? Xia Shui was helpless. She had to admit it in frustration. Hee hee, I really guessed correctly. Since you admitted it, then it's easy. Can our bet take effect? Yang Ming smiled and asked. What bet? I forgot. Xia Shui shook her head and denied it. If I win, you will be my woman. Yang Ming said seriously. Your girlfriend is next to you. How dare you be so bold? Xia Shui glared at Yang Ming and then said to Huang Lele, Lele, your boyfriend is looking for a woman behind your back. Oh. Huang Lele responded. What are you, for? You just, and that's it? Xia Shui was dumbfounded by Huang Lele's attitude. What kind of attitude is this? Why does it seem like it has nothing to do with her? Yang Ming looking for a woman has nothing to do with her? Then what should I say? If he is looking for a woman, then so be it. What do you want me to say? Huang Lele asked. When she was with Yang Ming, she also knew that Yang Ming had a girlfriend. In Huang Lele's mind, there was no such thing as jealousy. She was her stewardess, and she didn't have any conflicts with those women. Everyone was busy with their own things. It was fine as long as nothing happened. Therefore, for Xia Shui's question, Huang Lele was somewhat inexplicable. Forget it. I can't talk to you. Xia Shui was a little depressed. What happened to Yang Ming's girlfriends? Why do they seem to be brainwashed? Suya, whom I met at the beach, was like this. This Huang Lele is also like this. Chapter 2006. The most amazing thing was that Chen Mengyao seemed to have no reaction at all. She let Yang Ming do whatever he wanted. Xia Shui was depressed. Is Yang Ming so good? So many women follow him, and he has no regrets? However, Xia Shui was also a little depressed. My vision is good, but isn't it a bit too good? She would share Yang Ming's love with so many women in the future. This made Xia Shui somewhat unable to adapt. It's not that it doesn't make sense. It's that you are too nosy. If you are willing to bet, just accept your loss. You still want to sow discord. Yang Ming smiled. Humph. Xia Shui turned her head and ignored Yang Ming. However, Yang Ming was also happy to be idle. The time on the plane was not much. There were opportunities to communicate with Xia Shui. He was not in a hurry. Now the main task was to accompany Huang Lele. After going to Beijing for special training, he might not have so much time to accompany Huang Lele. Although Yang Ming felt that the training in this case had no meaning, since it was held by Xia Bingbao, Yang Ming still had to give face and participate. At least he had to participate in the beginning. After taking a leave, he could do his own things. So along the way, Yang Ming and Huang Lele talked and left Xia Shui aside. Although Xia Shui also wanted to interrupt, because of the previous matter, she couldn't say anything. She could only sit aside and watch the clouds outside the plane. In Songjiang City, in an unremarkable old-fashioned residential building, the top floor of a house with 2 households was bought by the same owner. For safety, the owner set up an iron gate between the stairs. For such an old-fashioned building without any property management, such a situation was very common. After all, this was the top floor, and no one else would come up. It was understandable for him to lock it up, and the residents downstairs did not have any objections. Moreover, the owner of this house did not often come to live. He only came to live for a while occasionally, so it was normal for people to install an iron gate protection net for the safety of their home. The residents in this building did not know the owner of the top floor. They only knew that he was a disabled person in a wheelchair. Every time he came, there was another person who helped him push the electric wheelchair. In these 2 days, this disabled person lived in the top floor again. The photos that I asked you to send out, did you send them out? What happened? Why hasn't Shen Mengyan received them yet? A disabled person in a wheelchair angrily rebuked a young man with a buzz cut. I sent them out, said the young man with a buzz cut carefully. Sent them out. How did Yang Ming still get on the plane? According to our people's observation, Yang Ming's family is currently very harmonious. There are no signs of quarreling at all, let alone fighting fiercely and affecting Yang Ming's trip. The disabled person in the wheelchair was very angry. What the hell are you doing? As he said this, the young man with a buzz cut took out a courier list and handed it to the disabled person. He said carefully. The disabled person in the wheelchair was Huang Yukai, the military advisor of the Wang family. He was currently working for the behind-the-scenes boss. Fuck. What kind of courier did you send? Uran Express? Don't you know that Uran Express is very slow? You still send him a courier? Did you make a mistake? What are you doing? Don't you know how to send a second-generation courier? The second-generation courier is much faster than this. Huang Yukai was so angry that he threw the list in front of him aside and said, "You check it for me. Where did this courier go?" I checked. I just checked with my mobile phone this morning. The day before yesterday, it had been transferred to the transfer station in District XX. The courier is sending it," said the young man with a buzz cut carefully. What the hell? It was sent the day before yesterday? This courier is slow enough. Huang Yukai was even more angry when he heard it. Otherwise, why would this courier be called Ao Tai Long? It's really slow, said the young man with a buzz cut. Get out, you get out of here. What a guy who can't do anything right, what a good opportunity, you wasted it for me, you big bastard. Get out of here. Huang Yukai yelled. Yes, Boss Huang, then I will get out first, said the young man with a bitter face. You wait for me. Let me ask you. Why didn't you send a second-generation courier? Why did you send it to Uran Express? Asked Huang Yukai. Because Uran Express is 5 yuan cheaper than the second-generation courier. I thought that I could save a little money, so I sent Uran Express, said the young man weakly. Why don't you die? Huang Yukai finally got angry. He couldn't hold the anger in his heart. He took out a pistol from under the wheelchair and shot directly at the young man's chest. The young man with a buzz cut just struggled a little, then he fell to the ground and didn't move. For Huang Yukai, killing people was a normal thing, so he didn't care at all. Anyway, the behind-the-scenes boss was there. The behind-the-scenes boss could easily dispose of the body. Brother Huang, you are too impulsive. How can you get angry so easily and kill people? After the young man with a buzz cut died, a closed door opened. A person walked out from inside. It was the behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon. It's just a small fry. If he dies, he dies. Why? Falcon, are you distressed? Huang Yukai said faintly, although these photos were collected and taken by your people, and the small fry that I killed was also your peripheral underling. These are all your people. Logically, I shouldn't be angry, but this idea was mine. In fact, you know that if it succeeds, it will definitely cause a lot of trouble to Yang Ming, which will affect Yang Ming's trip to Yunnan. Even if Yang Ming can go to Yunnan on time to perform the mission, his own backyard is on fire. He left for Yunnan without dealing with the situation clearly. Do you think he can go with peace of mind? At that time, he definitely won't be in the mood to perform the mission. If he has something in his heart, it will naturally be easy to make mistakes. This will also increase Elder Yu's chances. But now, the underling you found is quite good. He is quite clever, but isn't he too stingy? Because of a courier, in order to save some money, he delayed our important matter. Killing him is already a light punishment. Look at you, Brother Huang. Aren't you excited? I didn't say that what you did was wrong. I just said that it's not easy to deal with killing people in a residential area. It's a little troublesome. The behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon, smiled and said, This matter is indeed my negligence. The person I used is too bad. Chapter 2007. AI. Huang Yukai sighed. We have been planning this plan since the beginning. We have been working in secret. We have spent a lot of effort to take intimate photos of Yang Ming and his girlfriends. Now, we have collected a lot of photos. Aren't we just waiting for a suitable opportunity to send them all to Yang Ming's real girlfriend, Chen Mengyan? Huang Yutsai's plan was very good. If these photos fell into the hands of Yang Ming, she was bound to quarrel with Yang Ming and even break up with him. Although it seemed that Chen Mengyan had accepted Lin Jiyun, Zhou Jiejia, and others, it was impossible for Chen Mengyan to accept more people, especially Zhao Ying. Chen Mengyan was very wary of Zhao Ying. It was impossible for the two to coexist. After Chen Mengyan saw the photos, it was inevitable that she would be furious. However, this kind of photo could only cause Yang Ming some trouble. It was impossible to hurt Yang Ming's foundation. In other words, it couldn't cause any substantial harm to Yang Ming. Therefore, Huang Yukai had been letting the behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon, collect these photos instead of immediately sending them to Yang Ming. But now, these photos could be used. Before Yang Ming went to Yunnan, if these photos were released to Chen Mengyan, then Chen Mengyan was bound to quarrel with Zhao Ying and the women in the photos. As a result, Yang Ming's backyard would be on fire. In order to calm the anger of these women, Yang Ming's plan to go to Yunnan might be put on hold. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau would send another person to Yunnan to meet with Elder Yu. Even if Yang Ming didn't delay the trip, Yang Ming should have left Songjiang City in a very depressed situation. In this way, with these things in his heart, his mood when going to Yunnan would be seriously affected. At that time, it was possible that his mood would affect the entire plan because of his mood. That way, Elder Yu would have an opportunity to take advantage of. Although Elder Yu was not necessarily afraid of Yang Ming, Elder Yu was still somewhat wary of Yang Ming. After all, Yang Ming had ruined Elder Yu's good deeds several times, making Elder Yu somewhat afraid of Yang Ming. He was afraid that Yang Ming would ruin his good deeds again. If it was purely based on strength, Elder Yu was not afraid, but he was afraid that Yang Ming had other ways to affect him. Therefore, Elder Yu called and asked the behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon, to help snipe Yang Ming. It would be best if it affected Yang Ming's trip, so that the Supernatural Investigation Bureau would send someone else over. Or they could do something to affect Yang Ming's condition. It would be best if they didn't let Yang Ming maintain his best condition. Of course, as a reward, Elder Yu would give the behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon, some of the rarest voodoo. However, the behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon, also knew how powerful Yang Ming was. Naturally, he didn't dare to fight head-on with Yang Ming and keep him here. This was a fool's approach. It was very likely that not only would he not be able to keep Yang Ming here, but he would also lose his life there. Therefore, the behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon, found Huang Yukai for a discussion. Huang Yukai was still very good at playing tricks, so the behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon, felt that he should have some suitable method. Sure enough, after Huang Yukai only hesitated for a moment, he thought of a suitable method. This method was to collect the photos of Yang Ming with different women and mail them to Chen Mengyan. This move was really vicious. If this were any other time, it might not have caused any serious consequences. As long as Yang Ming was given some time, the behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon, and Huang Yukai felt that he could solve this problem very well. But now it was different. Yang Ming was about to leave home and go to Yunnan to perform a mission. There was no time to quell the conflicts and anger between Chen Mengyan and others. If he wanted to completely solve this matter, he had to spend a lot of time at home dealing with it. These things couldn't be solved with just a few words. It had to go through a very long cycle to completely solve this matter. He had to have enough patience. In this case, Yang Ming could either choose to perform the mission or choose to stay with Chen Mengyan. There were only two choices to solve this matter. If he stayed, it would inevitably affect the mission to Yunnan. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau had already arranged the time. It was impossible to make any changes because of Yang Ming alone, and it was impossible to change. So, the only choice was to send another person to replace Yang Ming, and Yang Ming would miss this mission. He would stay at home to comfort Chen Mengyan and calm the relationship between the women. If he didn't stay and continue the mission to Yunnan, then Yang Ming would definitely be unwilling to leave. Judging from Yang Ming's actions during this time, Yang Ming was trying his best to arrange his funeral. He was afraid that after he left, there would be trouble in the family. He wanted to leave without any worries. However, the more it was like this, the more Huang Yukai felt that there was an opportunity. So, he arranged the photo incident this time to disturb Yang Ming's mood. In this way, even if Yang Ming left, he would leave with depression and unwillingness. God knew how the women in the family would fight when he left. With such a quarrel, even his parents would be uneasy. Even if Yang Ming went to Yunnan, how could he be at ease? Once this happened, Yang Ming would definitely have a shadow in his heart. If he carried out the mission with worries, how could it be good? However, such a perfect plan was delayed because of a small fry in the periphery. How could this not make Huang Yukai furious? He thought that this plan was perfect, but now, it was finished. Negligence. The behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon, also smiled bitterly. He took out a small bottle from his pocket and poured it on the body of the young man with the buzz cut. Suddenly, the body of the young man with the buzz cut disappeared with a burst of bubbles and pungent yellow smoke. The behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon, used the corpse-dissolving powder, which was one of the voodoo poisons given by Elder Yu. I have tried my best. You explain to Elder Yu yourself. Huang Yukai shook his head and sighed that he had lost a good opportunity. I will naturally explain. But Brother Huang, you don't have to worry. I have sent a sniper to wait for Yang Ming in Yanjing. I won't let him have an easy time. The behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon, said fiercely. Oh. Sniper? Didn't you say that Yang Ming is the king of assassins? He is an assassin. What is the effect of a sniper on him? Don't let him not deal with Yang Ming, but be dealt with by Yang Ming. Wouldn't that be a waste of manpower? Huang Yukai was slightly stunned and asked. Chapter 2008. What I want to deal with is, of course, not Yang Ming, but other people. The behind-the-scenes boss Falcon smiled faintly and said, Yang Ming is the king of assassins. Wouldn't I be crazy to find someone to deal with him? However, I can still make a move on the people around him. People around him? You mean, you want to make a move on his friends? Huang Yukai agreed with this. Yes, I can't make a move on Yang Ming, but can't I make a move on his friends? As long as I kill or injure Yang Ming's friends, it will disturb Yang Ming's state of mind and achieve our goal, said the behind-the-scenes boss Falcon. Then, who do you choose to make a move on? Chen Mengyan or? Asked Huang Yukai. Chen Mengyan? This is Yang Ming's base camp. Chen Mengyan's father is the boss of the police station. If I make a move on her here, wouldn't I be a fool? The behind-the-scenes boss Falcon shook his head. We can't make a move on the people of Songjiang City. Something big will happen if we make a move. Even the new head of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau is also Yang Ming's best friend. If there is a problem with Yang Ming's friends and relatives, they will probably investigate to the end. We will be passive. Moreover, Yang Ming may not contact his family after he leaves. This won't cause any trouble for him. Oh. Then you mean? Huang Yukai was stunned. Yang Ming is going to Yanjing this time with two beautiful women. The behind-the-scenes boss Falcon smiled. I let my people make a move in Yanjing. If someone dies around Yang Ming, do you think he will still have the heart to go to Yunnan? This is also. Huang Yutsai's smile was a little unnatural. Then, you mean to choose Xia Shui? No, it's Huang Lele. The behind-the-scenes boss Falcon smiled. It's funny. This chick is from the same family as you. Her surname is also Huang. 5,000 years ago, you might be from the same family. Now, there is no relationship. Huang Lele. Huang Yukai asked calmly, why didn't you choose Huang Lele? If she dies, it will serve as a warning to Yang Ming, right? Xia Shui still won't do. Firstly, her relationship with Yang Ming was not good enough. According to the investigation, she was only Yang Ming's confidant, not Yang Ming's woman. She did not have a substantial relationship with Yang Ming. If she was injured or dead, Yang Ming would not be affected too much. Secondly, her identity is rather special. If we kill her, we will be going against the entire Supernatural Investigation Bureau. How would we have the strength to contend against the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Said the behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon. I see. Huang Yukai nodded. That's true. Yeah, Huang Lele is different. She is Yang Ming's woman. If something happens to her, then Yang Ming is bound to be affected. After Huang Lele goes to Beijing, she will participate in close training. There is no chance to do anything to her, but Huang Lele has a lot of opportunities. Said the behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon. Oh, in this case, it is better to injure Huang Lele. It is best not to kill her. If she is injured, she will definitely drag Yang Ming down. Let Yang Ming stay, so I suggest that it is better to injure her than to die. Said Huang Yukai. I'm afraid this can't be guaranteed. Everything depends on the sniper. Whether she is injured or dead, it is controlled and decided by that side. Said the behind-the-scenes boss, Falcon. That's true. Huang Youcai's eyes flashed with an imperceptible color. Yang Ming's plane slowly landed at Beijing Airport. Yang Ming and his first-class passengers did not get off the plane with the normal passengers, but left the airport through a special passage. The fat man sent the two people out of the airport's special passage. At this time, two people in black came over. Apparently, they knew the fat man. Comrade Fatty? We are the liaison of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau in the Beijing area. We are here to welcome Comrade Yang Ming and Comrade Xia Shui under the order of Captain Xia. One of the men in black took the initiative to reach out to the fat man. Hello. However, the fat man was obviously a bit unfamiliar with these two people. Although he showed enough enthusiasm and respect, the fat man still said, "Please show me your ID." "This is my ID." As the fat man spoke, he took out his ID. Although not everyone could enter the airport's special passage, the fat man was a person who came back from the outside. He had a cautious attitude towards everything, so he was so cautious. The man in black was slightly stunned, but he said, "This is how it should be." As he spoke, he reached into his pocket. However, what he took out was not an ID, but a pistol. The muzzle of the pistol was now pointed at Huang Lele next to Yang Ming. The fat man was suddenly shocked. He subconsciously reached for his gun, but it was too late. The other party was obviously one step faster. If they wanted to kill someone, the fat man couldn't make any reaction. However, what surprised the fat man was that Yang Ming next to him didn't seem to care at all. It was as if the person who these people pointed their guns at wasn't Huang Lele, nor was it Yang Ming's woman. All of this seemed to have nothing to do with Yang Ming. Huang Lele was dumbfounded. Xia Shui was also stunned. Her reaction was the same as the fat man's, but she had already handed in the police station's gun. Currently, she didn't have a pistol with her. In the future, she was only a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. She had nothing to do with the police station for the time being. Naturally, it was impossible for her to take the police station's gun. Xia Shui's second reaction was to kick the man in front of her, but an incredible thing happened. The man in black holding the gun inexplicably fell down. The pistol he took out did not fire, and it fell to the ground with the man in black. What is going on? Not only was Xia Shui stunned, but the fat man on the side was also stunned. Even the person who was with the man in black was stunned. However, at this moment, Yang Ming made a move. He directly caught the man in black, pinched his neck, and asked faintly, "Who sent you?" "Don't be excited. Please don't be excited. I was sent by Captain Xia." The man quickly defended his innocence. "Captain Xia? Which Captain Xia?" Xia Shui frowned. "Xia Bingbao, Captain Xia." The man said, "Captain Xia asked me and Brother Wang to come to the airport to meet Comrade Yang Ming and Comrade Xia Shui. As for why Brother Wang suddenly took out his gun, I don't know. Maybe he has Captain Xia's secret order, but I really don't know what happened." This person was also a little scared. He didn't know why the situation had changed so much. He was just a very ordinary liaison in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Today, he received an order to come to the airport to pick up 2 people. He thought it would be a very simple task as usual, but he didn't expect such a thing to happen. Chapter 2009. As for why Brother Wang suddenly took out his gun, this person had no idea. Yang Ming saw this person's true thoughts. Naturally, he didn't doubt that this person was in cahoots with the previous person. It seemed that this person was really from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. He was also sent by Xia Bingbao. As for why Brother Wang suddenly took out his gun, Yang Ming could only wait until Brother Wang woke up. Previously, when Brother Wang reached out to take out his ID, Yang Ming subconsciously looked at what Brother Wang took out with his keen senses as an assassin. Brother Wang probably wouldn't have dreamt that Yang Ming had X-ray vision, so Brother Wang's action of taking out his gun was clearly seen by Yang Ming. Yang Ming didn't care why he took out his gun. This guy took out a gun in front of him, so Yang Ming identified him as a dangerous person. Naturally, he wouldn't do nothing. So, Yang Ming immediately responded by throwing out the flying needle, making Brother Wang faint on the spot. This was also the reason why Yang Ming didn't take other countermeasures. Yang Ming had already made a move, so he wasn't afraid of anything. The reason why Brother Wang could take out his gun was just his body's habitual reaction. Yang Ming wasn't worried about this. So, Yang Ming let go of the person in his hand. The fat man held the pistol, but he looked at the person who was let go by Yang Ming with vigilance. "He has no problem. He doesn't know." Yang Ming said faintly. Thank you. The man quickly thanked him. According to the current situation, it was normal for Yang Ming to misunderstand that he and Brother Wang were in cahoots. Even if he was beaten to death, it could only be said that he was wronged. Now that Yang Ming had opened his mouth to prove his innocence, it made this person a little happy. "Oh. He has no problem." The fat man was stunned. "The problem is the person named Brother Wang on the ground. He didn't die. He just fainted." "Fat man, you immediately contact Brother Xia and let someone take him away for a surprise interrogation. See which side he is on." Yang Ming pointed to Brother Wang on the ground. "Okay, I'll contact Captain Xia right away." The fat man nodded solemnly. Yang Ming had some doubts about Brother Wang's sudden attack. If Brother Wang had directly pointed his gun at himself, Yang Ming would have felt that it was normal. The key problem was that he pointed his gun at Huang Lele. This made Yang Ming feel that it was somewhat inconceivable. Why is this person pointing at Huang Lele? Could it be Huang Lele's enemy? Or could it be that the enemy of the Huang family sent them to assassinate Huang Lele? The most important thing was Brother Wang's identity. Brother Wang was obviously a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Since this person was able to infiltrate the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he was obviously not a simple person. Moreover, he would not be used unless it was a critical moment. This was also the reason why Yang Ming couldn't figure it out. Since this person wanted to assassinate Huang Lele, why did he have to do it here? Huang Lele was not an important figure. Usually, she was not protected. It was obviously not too difficult to assassinate Huang Lele. However, this Brother Wang, or the person behind Brother Wang, chose to assassinate Huang Lele in this situation. This would completely expose Brother Wang's identity as an undercover in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, and his years of hard work would be ruined. It was obviously not worth it to do so. Therefore, Yang Ming was very puzzled. Did this Brother Wang make a mistake? It's not worth it to sacrifice so casually. His role as a chess piece was too ordinary, wasn't it? Soon, a car once again drove into the entrance of the special passage and stopped next to Yang Ming and the others. The person who got out of the car was Xia Bingbao himself. Xia Bingbao's expression was a bit serious. After getting out of the car, he glanced at it and quickly walked over to Yang Ming. Yang Ming, I'm really sorry. It's my negligence in work. I didn't investigate the identity of this person and let this traitor infiltrate the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xia Bingbao reviewed his mistakes as soon as he came up, which made Yang Ming less angry. Yang Ming had some complaints about Xia Bingbao in his heart. How did this person lead the team? In the headquarters of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, someone else's chess piece actually infiltrated. This is really ironic. However, since Xia Bingbao said so, Yang Ming couldn't say anything more. He just nodded. Find out the truth as soon as possible. Take these two people back. Xia Bingbao waved his hand and pointed to Brother Wang on the ground and another person with him. He ordered his men. The person who came with Brother Wang was suddenly a little dumbfounded. Captain Xia, I am innocent. I didn't know that Brother Wang was going to commit murder with a gun. I didn't know at all. Whether you are innocent or not, I will investigate it myself, said Xia Bingbao faintly. Ah. The man's face suddenly turned a little pale. He didn't expect that he would encounter such an unlucky thing. After graduating from university, he found a very good job in the envious eyes of others. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau was a very mysterious and privileged organization. Although he was only a liaison, he had power that others couldn't have. In particular, a liaison like him could show off his power. For example, he could enter the airport through a special passage. He usually had some preferential access and unimpeded access to other institutions. However, he didn't expect that he would fall into a passive situation at this moment. Today's matter could bring about a prison sentence for him. He didn't know what the final investigation result would be. Would Brother Wang bite him back? Just based on the fact that he had the best relationship with Brother Wang, he was afraid that he couldn't keep his job. Who asked him to be careless in making friends? He had some regrets, but it was useless to regret at this moment. There was no medicine for regret in the world. He could only bow his head helplessly now. Brother Xia, it has nothing to do with him. He doesn't know about this. Let him go. Yang Ming knew that this person was innocent because his thoughts couldn't lie. He couldn't have known that Yang Ming had the ability to see through other people's thoughts, and he couldn't have forced himself to think of those words in advance to confuse Yang Ming. People's thoughts may sometimes betray everything in a moment. It was uncontrollable. So, Yang Ming didn't believe that he was pretending. Yang Ming's ability could accurately determine whether a person was innocent or not, so Yang Ming was so sure to defend this person. Xia Bingbao was slightly stunned. He looked at Yang Ming with some surprise. He didn't expect that Yang Ming would take the initiative to defend this person. However, Xia Bingbao didn't doubt Yang Ming's intentions. Xia Bingbao was very clear about Yang Ming's character. He was the kind of person who was quick to avenge. If you hurt his relatives and friends, no matter what you did, he would make you pay with blood. Chapter 2010. But if this person was really innocent, Yang Ming would not touch him, and it was impossible for him to vent his anger on an innocent person. All of this is about Brother Wang on the ground. When he wakes up, just interrogate him. This person doesn't know anything. Yang Ming glanced at Xia Bingbao and explained. Well, since you said so, then you don't have to take little Jing away. Just take Wang Cable on the ground. Xia Bingbao nodded and said to his men. These men received the order and naturally let go of little Zheng. They stuffed Wang Cable on the ground into the car. You go back and interrogate Wang Cable first. I will be there later. Xia Bingbao instructed his men. Yes. These men got in the car and quickly left. Xia Bingbao turned to look at little Zheng. Little Zheng, where is your car? Let's go together. Over there, Captain Xia. Little Zheng said with some fear and trepidation. He looked at Yang Ming gratefully, but with Xia Bingbao here, he couldn't thank him. And, let's go. You lead the way. Xia Bingbao said to little Zheng, and then said to the fatty, Fatty, you come with us. Since you are here, don't rush to go back. No problem. For Xia Bingbao's words, the fatty naturally had to listen. Along the way, Yang Ming seemed to be fine, but he was full of vigilance. He always paid attention to the surrounding movements and protected Huang Lele behind him. He formed a blind spot at any time and place, not giving others any opportunities to take advantage of. Although this was the airport, the security was very high. Only people with special identities like Brother Wang could come in with a gun, but there was no harm in being careful. After the previous incident, Yang Ming was also afraid that another person with special identity would come and wait for them with a gun somewhere. Since these people could infiltrate the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, it was more likely that they could infiltrate the airport. Fortunately, nothing happened along the way. Yang Ming smoothly entered the commercial vehicle, but even so, Yang Ming also let Huang Lele sit in the middle of the commercial vehicle. This was the sniper's blind spot. If he couldn't aim at the target, the armor-piercing bullets would be useless. Seeing Yang Ming's arrangement, Xia Bingbao couldn't help but give a thumbs up. Yang Ming's experience in protecting people was comparable to a professional. Even the professional bodyguards in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau were only so-so. Yang Ming, this person, didn't seem to have learned anything systematically, but he seemed to be proficient in everything and knew everything. For example, Yang Ming's current situation. This was also an important reason why Xia Bingbao was so optimistic about Yang Ming. Yang Ming, as a peripheral personnel, could actually learn without a teacher in this situation. This was a bit incredible, but Yang Ming did it. It seemed that just from the information he had learned, his understanding of Yang Ming was only a part. There was definitely a side behind Yang Ming that he didn't know. Just like the scene in Las Vegas, even Xia Bingbao was shocked. The local tyrant was actually suppressed by Yang Ming. It was conceivable that Yang Ming's power had reached a terrifying level. According to Xia Bingbao's long-term investigation, he only found that Yang Ming had a certain relationship with the Buffon family and the Douglas family, but he wasn't very clear about the specific relationship. After all, overseas was not the same as within the country. It was impossible for all the intelligence personnel there to be dispatched to investigate Yang Ming. Yang Ming, with this move of yours, you can become a professional security guard. Xia Bingbao said in admiration. Brother Xia is joking. I have the Ming Yang Security Company under me. It can be said that security work is my old profession. When the big star Miss Shuya came to Songjiang City for a concert, it was also our Ming Yang Security Company who came forward to protect her, said Yang Ming faintly. Hee, you don't have to hide it. This time when you go to Yunnan, use whatever skills you have. If you hold back, you may lose your life. I believe you know the importance of this without me saying it, said Xia Bingbao. I naturally understand this. This is risking my life. Naturally, I won't hide anything easily. Yang Ming said with a smile, but according to this mission, I also have a few requests for you. I hope you can agree to them. You brat, didn't you already make a few requests before? I also followed your suggestions one by one. You brat are still not satisfied. What other requests do you have? Don't push your luck. We haven't gone to Yunnan yet, and you are already opening your mouth like a lion. Xia Bingbao looked at Yang Ming with a dumbfounded expression. Brother Xia, my requests are based on the basis that I solve the problem and return safely, not the requests before I go. Yang Ming smiled slightly and explained, if I win, it is natural to make some requests, right? Oh. The conditions after the victory? Xia Bingbao was slightly stunned, but then nodded and said, this is indeed the right thing to do. If that's the case, you can make a request. If I can agree, I will try my best to agree to it. Okay. Yang Ming nodded. After doing this, I am going to gradually retire from the underworld. I am going to settle on X Island. I believe that Brother Xia is very clear about the situation of X Island, right? X Island has a close relationship with you. There is the support of the Buffon family behind the scenes. I am not surprised that you are living there in seclusion. This is your freedom. Xia Bingbao smiled. But the meaning of your words is not just this, right? You want to tell me that after you retire from the underworld, you will no longer participate in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's matters, right? Brother Xia is smart. Yes, that's what I mean. Yang Ming nodded. I am going to retire from the underworld. Naturally, I don't want to care about other things. I can promise you half of this condition. Xia Bingbao carefully pondered and said. Half? What do you mean? Yang Ming was stunned and asked. Half of the meaning is that you will semi-retire. If there is something that we can't solve or something that is difficult to solve, I will invite you to participate as a private individual. Of course, it is just an invitation. The final decision is yours. What do you think? Asked Xia Bingbao. Brother Xia, you have said so. Do I still have a reason to refuse? Yang Ming smiled slightly. He knew that Xia Bingbao would not let him go completely. However, Xia Bingbao's proposal was reasonable. It was not a forced invitation, but a private invitation. This was something that Yang Ming could accept. In this way, the choice was in Yang Ming's hands. It was not a command. Yang Ming was a person who valued friendship. Naturally, he would not stand idly by. Chapter 2011. If that's the case, then I will promise you. Xia Bingbao said, are there any other conditions? Do you want to say them all? As for the rest, let's talk about it after my triumphant return. Yang Ming couldn't think of any conditions for a while, but in order not to waste this good opportunity, Yang Ming extended the time of the conditions to after he came back. It could be considered that Yang Ming played a little trick. All right. Xia Bingbao smiled. Then, let's do it after I come back. The car slowly drove on the road, and an abrupt phone call suddenly rang. Yang Ming was slightly stunned. At this time, no one should be calling me, right? Before I left, I had already made it clear to my family and Chen Mengyan that after embarking on the journey, they should not contact me. Moreover, my phone number will definitely be changed when I arrive at Yanjing for training. It will be replaced with a satellite confidential phone that can be used in Yunnan. Yang Ming picked up the phone and looked at the caller ID. It was actually an unfamiliar number, which made Yang Ming slightly stunned. Yang Ming immediately picked up the phone. Hello, who are you looking for? Yang Ming? There was a hoarse voice on the other side of the phone. Apparently, it was obtained through a voice changer. It's me. Who are you? After Yang Ming heard this voice, he suddenly frowned. This voice made him a little uncomfortable. You don't need to know who I am. I just called to tell you one thing. Someone is targeting Huang Lele next to you. They want to kill her. It may be a sniper. You are on your own. After that, the phone was hung up, and there was no sound. Hello? Hello? Who are you? Yang Ming listened to the words on the other side of the phone and was suddenly stunned. Who is this person? Why is he informing me at this time? If it were before, Yang Ming might not believe it. But now, Huang Lele was almost shot at the airport. Yang Ming had to pay attention to this call. Which side is this caller from? Is it my friend who got the news in advance and wanted to inform me? Or was it someone from the enemy deliberately calling to confuse him for some purpose? Or perhaps, this person was an enemy and not a friend. He called just for some special purpose. He didn't want Huang Lele to be hurt in this situation. Who was this person? For a moment, Yang Ming had no clue at all. This made Yang Ming take a deep breath. He was at a loss. Brother Xia, help me check where the call came from. Yang Ming turned to look at Xia Bingbao, who was not far away. What's wrong, Yang Ming? Who called? Your face doesn't look right. Xia Bingbao also saw that something was wrong with Yang Ming, so he asked. Nothing. Yang Ming frowned and said, I received a phone call. The other party told me that someone is targeting Huang Lele and wants to kill her. It may be a sniper. Then, should take care of myself. Ah. Huang Lele couldn't help but exclaim. She was also a little scared. Yang Ming, I don't seem to have offended anyone recently, right? Why does someone want to kill me? I don't know for the time being, but I will check it out as soon as possible and solve this problem. Yang Ming comforted Huang Lele. On Xia Bingbao's side, he had quickly made a phone call and began to investigate Yang Ming's phone number. He believed that the results would come out soon. However, the results did come out quickly, but this result made Yang Ming very dissatisfied. The time of the phone call was too short. I couldn't find out the source of the call. The other party was transferred through overseas lines many times. Xia Bingbao said with some regret. Forget it. This has nothing to do with you. Although Yang Ming was not satisfied, he also knew that this matter had nothing to do with Xia Bingbao. It was not that Xia Bingbao's ability was not good enough. Xia Bingbao's technical power could not find the source of the phone call, which meant that there was no need to check again. There would be no results even if he checked again. Don't worry, Yang Ming. I will transfer the elites to protect Huang Lele 24 hours a day until the matter is resolved. Xia Bingbao was afraid that Yang Ming would be worried and delay his trip to Yunnan, so he took the initiative to volunteer. Let me do it personally. Although I don't mean to target you, I am really worried about your people. Yang Ming shook his head. Xia Bingbao was a little embarrassed. He naturally knew what Yang Ming was talking about. Since Brother Wang could sneak in and receive Yang Ming openly, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau might have other people's pawns. Yang Ming's worry was normal. Can't you tell which one is sent by the people outside? Do you want me to choose someone and you can take a look again? Asked Xia Bingbao. I am not omnipotent. Before they have any ideas, I can't judge who has a problem. Yang Ming said faintly, there is no need to discuss this matter. I will personally protect Lele these 2 days. Alright, then let Lele live in our training base so that you don't have to worry about anything. On the one hand, you won't delay the training. On the other hand, you can take care of Lele smoothly. What do you think? Asked Xia Bingbao. Training? Yang Ming couldn't help but frown. For Yang Ming, he didn't want to participate in any training. He felt that it was useless and would only delay time. Hiding in the training base and not coming out was not Yang Ming's character. Yang Ming wanted to find those who wanted to deal with Huang Lele and kill them one by one. This was what Yang Ming wanted to do. Yes, Xia Shui told you, right? In order to improve everyone's coping ability, I specially organized a training. Said Xia Bingbao. The instructors were invited from abroad. They are masters of jungle survival. Brother Xia, I don't think this training is useful. I don't want to participate. As for whether others participate or not, I don't have any opinion, but I won't participate. Said Yang Ming. Yang Ming, you can't say that. I know your ability, but it is also good to learn more things. Don't rush to refuse, okay? Xia Bingbao persuaded Yang Ming, then lowered his voice and said, moreover, these 2 instructors are not ordinary people. Not ordinary people? Who are they? Are they special people? Asked Yang Ming with a smile. You are right. They are indeed special people. You will know when you go. Xia Bingbao nodded and said seriously. Oh. Special people? Brother Xia, then tell me. What kind of special people are these? I am a little curious. Yang Ming looked up and asked, Brother Xia, if they are really special, can you tell me first? Chapter 2012. I will tell you first. It's fine, but don't be surprised. Xia Bingbao's voice was very slow. There are no outsiders here, so I will be blunt. These two people are foreign assassins. What? Foreign assassins? Yang Ming was slightly stunned and said with some surprise. How is it? Is it very special? Are you tempted? Are you interested now? Xia Bingbao asked with some pride. To be honest, no. Yang Ming said faintly, I don't know why you invited two assassins, but I have no interest in learning from them. Yang Ming, it seems that you don't understand the assassin profession. Indeed, in China, there are very few assassins. When people talk about assassins, they stop at the most superficial level of hiring someone to kill. That is, the most ordinary kind of gangster level, revenge company, etc. In fact, these are not real assassins. Xia Bingbao said word by word. Oh. Mentioning assassins in front of Yang Ming was somewhat like showing off in front of an expert. When it came to assassins, if Yang Ming didn't know, then it was even more impossible for Xia Bingbao to know. However, Xia Bingbao didn't know Yang Ming's identity. Yang Ming couldn't say it, so he could only laugh it off. Yang Ming, what are you laughing at? Don't take it lightly. In fact, assassin is a very mysterious profession. I know you may be disdainful, but assassins have a long history in many countries. Xia Bingbao said seriously, for example, the world's famous Butterfly Assassin Group and Black Butterfly Assassin Group. These are professional existences. Don't underestimate assassins. Each of these people is a first-class top master. In order to cope with a variety of tasks, these people not only have superb assassination skills, but also brilliant survival skills. In some bad environments, they can also survive. Hee hee. Yang Ming continued to laugh. He didn't expect Xia Bingbao to know about the Black Butterfly Assassin Group. Not simple. If he only knew about the Butterfly Assassin Group, Yang Ming would not be surprised. The Black Butterfly Assassin Group had not been established for a long time, but Xia Bingbao already knew about it. Obviously, he also knew about the world's assassin group rankings. From the fact that he could invite a foreign professional assassin as an instructor this time, it could be seen that Xia Bingbao still had a lot of connections. However, even so, Yang Ming couldn't comment on Xia Bingbao's words, and Yang Ming couldn't say anything. Yang Ming, why are you laughing again? You really underestimated these assassins. Xia Bingbao. Kill. Kill. It can be said that assassins will do anything to achieve their goals. Although this is a bit unimportant, it is an example for people like you. It's because they are similar to you. After all, the purpose of your trip is to kill elder you. As for the process and means, they are secondary. As long as you achieve the goal, it is good. I know this. This has always been my style, so I don't have to go to the training. Yang Ming said faintly. Seeing that Yang Ming was not interested in his words, Xia Bingbao was also a little helpless. This Yang Ming is not easy to persuade. However, he still didn't intend to give up and continued, Yang Ming, I won't say more. You should understand that there is always someone better than you. There is always someone better than you. Although you have the ability and the capital to be proud, you should know that there are more powerful people. Hee hee, yes, the two assassins should understand that there are more powerful people than them. They are just two assassins. They are not the king of assassins, and they are not invincible. Yang Ming said faintly. Forget it. I won't say anything more at this moment. Xia Bingbao sighed helplessly. So, you promise me one thing. Don't rush to a conclusion now. Wait until you see it. If you think it is useless, then I won't say anything. If you think it is useful, then stay and learn. Is that okay? Of course. Yang Ming smiled slightly and did not refuse. After all, if he refused again, it would be a bit unreasonable. So, Yang Ming did not refuse strongly this time, but agreed. Anyway, he would go through the motions at that time. It was considered giving Xia Bingbao face. Xia Shui, who was on the side, listened to the conversation between her brother and Yang Ming. She felt a little indignant. Isn't this Yang Ming a little too arrogant? Xia Shui still had a certain understanding of foreign assassins. She knew how terrifying they were. These people were not inferior to the existence of the special forces. They were even stronger. Once their goal was determined, they would kill by hook or by crook. If she could learn from these people, it would be a kind of improvement to her own ability. Thinking of this, Xia Shui persuaded Yang Ming, in fact, my brother is right. There is always someone better. Our own abilities are limited now. There is such a good opportunity to improve, so why not? I just feel that there is nothing to learn from these two assassins. Yang Ming really had a hard time. He couldn't tell Xia Shui and Xia Bingbao that he was the most powerful assassin and the king of assassins, right? Yang Ming couldn't reveal this secret. Yang Ming, I think you still have a prejudice against assassins. You haven't seen a real assassin. You don't know how powerful assassins are. You haven't seen a real assassin in China, so you have doubts about their ability. But what I want to say is that assassins are really powerful. Xia Shui said word by word. As a police officer, I also know some inside stories. So what I want to tell you is that you don't underestimate assassins. Xia Shui, I think you don't understand what I mean at all. I don't mean to underestimate assassins, and I didn't say that assassins aren't powerful. It's just your wishful thinking. Yang Ming retorted with a wry smile. In fact, I also think that assassins are very powerful. But what I want to say is that the two assassins that you told me are not very powerful. You haven't even seen them. How do you know that these two assassins are not powerful? Xia Bingbao frowned and asked. Yang Ming's attitude made him somewhat dissatisfied. It was good to be confident, but blind confidence was arrogance. Chapter 2013. I guessed. Yang Ming said faintly, I believe that the identity of the truly powerful assassins is confidential. They will not be easily exposed to the public. Even if it is a small-scale training, they will not participate. Therefore, the two assassins that you contacted, I am afraid that they can only be at the second-rate level at most, or even not at the second-rate level. Moreover, I don't think you can contact such powerful assassins with your channel. Guessed? Xia Bingbao couldn't help but be dumbfounded. He didn't know what to say about Yang Ming's reason. Guessed. Xia Bingbao said helplessly, you mean, you know more powerful assassins. If the more powerful assassins come forward to teach, you will participate? This is hard to say. It depends on how powerful they are. At least they are more powerful than me, said Yang Ming faintly. I know, Yang Ming. After all this time, you think that these two assassins are not as good as you, so you keep rejecting them, right? Xia Bingbao finally understood Yang Ming's meaning. It seemed that Yang Ming kept rejecting them for a reason. It was because Yang Ming felt that these two people were not as good as him, so he refused to participate in the training. In a sense, you can understand it this way. Yang Ming nodded and agreed faintly. Then let's do it this way. When the time comes, you still have to see it for yourself. After seeing their methods, you can judge for yourself. It is still up to you whether you want to learn or not, said Xia Bingbao. All right, then it's settled. Yang Ming did not continue to discuss this issue. If he continued to discuss it, he was afraid that there would be no result along the way. After all, Yang Ming had already vetoed the content of this training in his heart. The car drove slowly on the road, neither too fast nor too slow. Although this car did not look special from the outside, in fact, it had been specially modified. It was not much worse than an armored vehicle. It was an advanced bulletproof car. The car turned left and right and finally drove to the suburbs. It was a road that seemed to be relatively sparsely populated. There were very few vehicles passing by here. Only occasionally, one could see a car passing by. The further they went, the fewer cars there were. After driving for a while, they could only see vehicles with military license plates on the road. In front of them was a military administrative area. Only Xia Bingbao's MPV had civilian license plates. The car stopped at the entrance of the military administrative area compound, but the person in charge of managing the gate just glanced at the car and let it go directly. Obviously, he knew Xia Bingbao's MPV. Our training base this time is in the military administrative area. It is hidden. Will not be disturbed by the outside world. Yang Ming nodded. Then if I travel on foot, do I need to apply for a pass? Yang Ming had made up his mind not to participate in any training, so it was impossible for him to stay at the training base with nothing to do. That was why he asked these questions. Xia Bingbao obviously guessed Yang Ming's intentions, but he didn't say much. He also knew that this issue had been discussed for a long time before, and there was no result to discuss it again. So, he just explained to Yang Ming, you don't have to apply for a pass. You just have to show your Supernatural Investigation Bureau ID. As for bringing people, when you take Huang Lele out, make a registration record and declare that you are one of our people. When you come back, you can come in directly without registration. So, I got it. Yang Ming nodded and noted it down. The car passed through another checkpoint, but this checkpoint was set up by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. There was a clear sign at the door stating that vehicles and personnel not from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau were not allowed to enter. However, Xia Bingbao's car was directly let in. After the car drove into the compound, it didn't go far before it finally stopped in front of a closed gymnasium-like building. Apart from this gymnasium, there were no other landmark buildings in this area. There were dense trees and jungles next to it, making it very hidden. Trees were also planted above the gymnasium. If one looked at the satellite image, this area was full of forests and trees, which were relatively hidden. Xia Bingbao got off the car first, and Yang Ming, Xia Shui, Fatty, and Huang Lele also got off the car. Little Zheng, who was driving, also got off together and walked to the entrance of the gymnasium. At the entrance of the gymnasium, there were fully armed personnel guarding it. It was very heavily guarded, but Yang Ming and his group were led by Xia Bingbao. Naturally, they were not carefully interrogated. Xia Bingbao's position in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was very high. It was said that he was also a candidate for the next director, so the people he brought naturally had no problems. Yang Ming followed Xia Bingbao smoothly into the gymnasium and came to a lounge. Xia Bingbao said, Little Zheng, you get everyone some drinks. I will go out first. Yang Ming, your teammates are all here. I will call them over first. You all can get familiar with each other. Okay. Yang Ming nodded. He did not refuse Xia Bingbao's proposal. He did not want to learn any skills from the assassin, but Yang Ming was willing to get in touch with his teammates in advance. After a while, Xia Bingbao returned to the lounge, but behind him were 3 people. One of them was Lu Yezi. Behind him, there were 2 people he did not know, a man and a woman. The man looked very energetic, and the woman was very beautiful. Although Yang Ming was appointed as the captain by Xia Bingbao, Ang Ming was still very enthusiastic about his own team members. After all, these people were people who had to fight together with Yang Ming. Yang Ming would definitely not give them any attitude. Lu Yezi was also his old friend. Death Squad members, gather. Xia Bingbao ordered the people present. Yes. The three people behind Xia Bingbao, as well as Xia Shui, all stood together in a straight line, facing Xia Bingbao with their straight bodies. Xia Bingbao's order made Yang Ming stunned. Death Squad? My team has become a death squad? And these team members seemed to know about this earlier than me, the captain. Thinking of this, Yang Ming couldn't help but smile bitterly and walked over. Brother Xia, what are you doing? Why didn't I know about it? You are the death squad captain. I didn't call you. I called the team members. Xia Bingbao really couldn't be angry with Yang Ming, so in front of Yang Ming, Xia Bingbao was still pleasant. Chapter 2014. Hee, are these the members of the suicide squad? Yang Ming smiled slightly and looked at the four people in front of Xia Bingbao and asked. Yes, Yang Ming. You are the captain of the suicide squad. You have 4 members under you. From today onwards, these 4 members are all your subordinates. You are responsible for their safety. They will also listen to your orders, said Xia Bingbao. Yang Ming nodded. Suddenly, he looked solemn and said to the 4 people, introduce yourself. Let's start with you. Yang Ming said and pointed to Xia Shui. Although Xia Shui was a little dissatisfied, her brother was next to her. Yang Ming was the captain appointed by her brother. Even if she was unhappy, she wouldn't say it in front of her brother and embarrass him. So Xia Shui said seriously, yes, captain. My name is Xia Shui, the Deputy Bureau Chief of the Songjiang City Police Station and the captain of the Criminal Investigation Team. I'm good at kickboxing and grappling techniques. Yang Ming nodded and glanced at the person next to Xia Shui. This person was Lu Yezi, Yang Ming's old acquaintance. However, Lu Yezi also admired Yang Ming very much. He had recognized Yang Ming as the boss before, so he was not dissatisfied with Yang Ming being the captain at this moment. On the contrary, he felt that only Yang Ming could be qualified for this position, so he immediately said respectfully, my name is Lu Yezi, code name Yezi, the number 1 ace of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's field team. I'm good at firearms and investigation. Yang Ming nodded again and looked at the person next to Lu Yezi. Yang Ming didn't know this person, but he should be an elite if he could join the suicide squad. My name is Feng Tianlong, code name Long Feng, the deputy captain of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Special Task Force, said the man proudly. Deputy captain of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Special Task Force? Isn't this Xia Bingbao's deputy? Xia Bingbao is the captain of the Special Task Force, then this Feng Tianlong. Yang Ming was a little surprised. This person was really an elite. Yang Ming didn't expect Xia Bingbao to even send his deputy. Since this person was able to become the vice captain of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Special Task Force, it was obvious that he had some skills. There was no way that he was just a good-for-nothing. Yang Ming also saw an unruly expression on this person's face. It was obvious that this person had some thoughts about him, the captain. Logically speaking, the death squad was formed under Xia Bingbao. As Xia Bingbao's deputy, Feng Tianlong should be the captain. However, this captain fell on Yang Ming's head. If one were to say that Feng Tianlong had no thoughts, Yang Ming would not believe it. However, Yang Ming didn't care. In the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, strength was everything. If Yang Ming's strength was stronger than his, he would naturally be convinced and wouldn't say anything else. Vice captain of the Secret Service team? Not bad. You must be quite skilled. Yang Ming nodded faintly. He just gave a slight compliment and no longer looked at Feng Tianlong. Instead, he turned his gaze to the woman beside Feng Tianlong. My name is Xiao Susu. I belong to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Supernatural Investigation Division. I have a little research on voodoo. Xiao Susu said quietly. Yang Ming was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Xiao Susu to be a technical talent. However, this trip to Yunnan was too dangerous. Yang Ming was a little worried about Xiao Susu's safety, so he turned to look at Xia Bingbao. Brother Xia, Xiao Susu's kung fu shouldn't be very good. This trip to Yunnan is dangerous. I'm afraid that something will happen to her. Yang Ming had Lan Ling, so naturally, he wasn't afraid of voodoo. Lan Ling's research on voodoo could be said to be much better than Xiao Susu. After all, Lan Ling specialized in this thing. Captain, don't look down on people. My kung fu is also good. Xiao Susu's face suddenly turned red when Yang Ming said this. I will protect her. At this time, Feng Tianlong also spoke faintly. As he spoke, Feng Tianlong punched the coffee table in the lounge. The thick marble coffee table was suddenly smashed into powder. Yang Ming's heart trembled. This Feng Tianlong was indeed not a simple person to be able to become the vice captain of the Secret Service team. Just this move alone was enough to look down on the heroes. Yang Ming also knew that Feng Tianlong was showing off to him. Through this move, he was also expressing his dissatisfaction with him being the captain. With this kind of super strength, Yang Ming knew that even if he could do it, it would be very laborious. He definitely wouldn't be as relaxed as Feng Tianlong. However, sometimes, strength alone was useless. Yang Ming was good at assassination and had the butterfly microsteps. He wasn't afraid of Feng Tianlong. Therefore, no sooner said than done, Yang Ming's body moved. With a ghostly speed, he floated behind Feng Tianlong and turned his palm into a knife, cutting the back of Feng Tianlong's neck. Of course, Yang Ming didn't use much strength. He didn't want to kill Feng Tianlong. He just wanted to give him a small warning. Feng Tianlong was shocked and subconsciously turned around, wanting to catch Yang Ming. However, Yang Ming floated back to his original position and looked at Feng Tianlong calmly. Your strength isn't bad, but your speed is a bit lacking. If this was a battlefield, you would already be dead. Remember, you are going to put your life on the line, not a street thug. What's the use of breaking a coffee table? Are you going to carry a coffee table to the battlefield and break it in front of your enemy to scare them? Feng Tianlong's face turned red. He really underestimated Yang Ming. He didn't expect Yang Ming to be so strong. He killed him in an instant. If Yang Ming wanted to attack him, he would probably be dead already. At this moment, Feng Tianlong was completely convinced by Yang Ming. He didn't know how strong Yang Ming was, but Yang Ming was right. Strength alone wasn't enough. It had to be combined with some skills. Captain Yang, I've learned a lot. Thinking of this, Feng Tianlong sincerely bowed to Yang Ming and said, I've offended you before. Please forgive me and don't take it to heart. Hee, it's fine. Yang Ming waved his hand. If you're not convinced, then let's spar. Is there anyone else who wants to spar? Xia Bingbao glanced at Feng Tianlong and let out a sigh of relief. When he arranged for Yang Ming to be the captain of the team, he considered all aspects. Yang Ming's ability was unquestionable, but as his assistant, Feng Tianlong was also a rare expert. Xia Bingbao was afraid that he would be unhappy if he followed Yang Ming's lead. Sure enough, this kind of dissatisfaction erupted at the first meeting. But what Xia Bingbao didn't expect was that in just a moment, Yang Ming was able to suppress Feng Tianlong and gain the upper hand. Feng Tianlong was convinced to admit defeat. Chapter 2015. This kind of speed made Xia Bingbao a little stunned. It seemed that he had chosen the right person. At the same time, he was also happy for Yang Ming. In this way, Feng Tianlong would definitely not have any objections in the future. He would follow Yang Ming wholeheartedly. In a team, the most terrible thing was the discord between teammates. Now, Yang Ming's move naturally prevented this kind of thing from happening in the future. As Yang Ming spoke, his eyes swept to Lu Yezi and Xia Shui. As for Xiao Susu, he automatically ignored her. Lu Yezi naturally wouldn't provoke Yang Ming. He had already recognized Yang Ming as the boss. Naturally, he wouldn't spar with Yang Ming. Wasn't that courting death? He was very clear about Yang Ming's skills. He admired him, so why would he look for trouble? Therefore, Lu Yezi took the lead to smile at Yang Ming in a friendly manner, indicating that he gave up. Xia Shui was naturally a little dissatisfied. After all, she was a girl who was eager to outdo others. These days, she had been arguing with Yang Ming. They were a pair of quarrelsome lovers. However, although Xia Shui was dissatisfied in her heart, she also knew her own situation. She knew how much she was capable. When she fought with Yang Ming, she never had the upper hand. Therefore, Xia Shui was dissatisfied in her heart. She could only be dissatisfied in her heart, but she was still calm on the surface. Looking at Xia Shui lowering her head, Yang Ming smiled slightly and said, "I have given you the opportunity to spar. It seems that no one has any objections. Since no one is dissatisfied, then you must absolutely obey my orders in the future." However, what surprised Yang Ming was that Xiao Susu, who had been ignored by Yang Ming, stood up at this moment. "Captain Yang, I want to ask for your advice." Xiao Susu said slowly, "This will prove my value." "Oh? You?" Yang Ming was slightly stunned. "Susu, go back." Feng Tianlong suddenly felt embarrassed. Although Yang Ming didn't know, Xia Bingbao and the rest of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau knew about his relationship with Xiao Susu. There was an ambiguous relationship between him and Xiao Susu, but Xiao Susu never agreed to his pursuit. Although Feng Tianlong didn't know why Xiao Susu rejected him, Feng Tianlong could feel Xiao Susu's feelings for him. Their relationship was closer than that of a close female friend. It was similar to the relationship between Yang Ming and Xia Shui. So now that Xiao Susu stood up for Feng Tianlong, Feng Tianlong's face was a little lost. He was a 7-foot-tall man. If he lost, he lost. If he was not as good as the other party, then so be it. How could he ask his girlfriend to come out and take revenge? That's not what a gentleman would do. "Sky Dragon, I want to spar with Captain Yang. It's my own idea. I hope you won't interfere with me." Xiao Susu said word by word. Although her voice was very soft, it revealed a kind of firmness. Yang Ming was slightly stunned. He looked at this beautiful girl in a new light. Xiao Susu should be a very opinionated girl. She didn't necessarily want to help Feng Tianlong by sparring with him. Yang Ming wasn't stupid. He saw the expression between Feng Tianlong and Xiao Susu and guessed their relationship. But Yang Ming felt that Xiao Susu wasn't the kind of girl who would be upset when her man lost a fight. "Heh, of course." Yang Ming nodded with a smile. "Comrade Xiao Susu, what do you want to spar with me?" "I'll sneak attack, you'll counter it," Xiao Susu said calmly. "Okay." Yang Ming nodded, "Then let's start. You sneak attack me, I'll stand here and take your attacks." "Okay." Xiao Susu was still as calm as ever. She looked like an otherworldly fairy. Xiao Susu waved her hand lightly and stood aside, quietly looking at Yang Ming. "Why aren't you attacking?" Yang Ming asked curiously. "Captain Yang, I've already attacked," Xiao Susu said something shocking. "You've already attacked? When?" Yang Ming frowned and was slightly stunned. "Just now, when I waved my hand." Xiao Susu said calmly, "I've already poisoned you, but you didn't take any precautions. I'm very disappointed. You poisoned me with voodoo?" Yang Ming frowned again. "I've already told you before that I've done some research on voodoo. This is a bit of information disclosure." Xiao Susu said calmly, "To me, voodoo is my forte, not other martial arts. However, you didn't pay attention to it, and instead underestimated me, causing you to overlook this point. As a result, I successfully completed the goo." Susu, what are you doing? Hurry up and remove the voodoo for Captain Yang. Feng Tianlong couldn't stand it anymore. Poisoned voodoo, not to mention Yang Ming, no one would be able to defend against it. How was this a competition? This was clearly a one-sided trap. It's not a serious poison, just diarrhea. After 5 minutes, Captain Yang will have abdominal pain, and the symptoms will disappear automatically after a day, Xiao Susu said. Hee, then if I don't have diarrhea, does this count as my win? Yang Ming suddenly smiled and asked. Of course, we've already agreed on the rules. I'll sneak attack, you'll neutralize it. If you neutralize my voodoo, then I'll lose, Xiao Susu said calmly. Okay, then let's wait for 5 minutes and see. Yang Ming smiled, although 2 to 3 minutes have passed, we'll start the countdown again. From now on, we'll decide the winner in 5 minutes. Xiao Susu was slightly stunned. She didn't expect Yang Ming to say this, and with such certainty. Was it because Yang Ming was already prepared, or did he not believe that she would use voodoo? Of course, voodoo was the Miao people's specialty. Xiao Susu only learned a little from ancient books and Chinafu. They were all simple voodoo techniques. But even simple voodoo techniques were effective. If one wasn't a Miao person, it would be difficult to neutralize it. She didn't believe that Yang Ming had the antidote on him. Moreover, Yang Ming had been standing here all this time and didn't use any antidote. There was no doubt about this. Thinking about this, Xiao Susu nodded, okay. Then we'll wait for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, if Captain Yang is safe and sound, then I'll lose this round. If I lose, then I'll take the initiative to withdraw from this mission. When she said this, Xiao Susu's face showed a hint of sadness. She wanted to go, and she had a reason to go, but she had to obey the order. This was what she had to follow as a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.